One woman is about to face her ultimate destiny. To save the future, she must face her past. Tomb Raider, the last revelation.
The sanctum of the ancients, the first footfalls in this tomb for centuries.
No prizes for you this time, Lara.
Do you wish to stop for tea?
Oh, I think I can just about hold it together.
Hello everyone. Please tell me if you can hear me alright. You should be able to. I'm just about to call the guys now in Skype, so you'll be able to hear us all. But give me a shout if you can't hear me very well and stuff like that before I do. It seems like... Good. Okay, cool. I'm calling Core Design. And let's see if this is actually gonna work. Would be nice if it would, you know. Hello. Hi, Andy.
Hello.
Just one sec. We can't see you just yet. Let's see. For some reason, this thing refuses to work. Oop. Yeah, always. Always an issue, isn't it?
Hey, Tom's in.
Hello.
Right, people are joining in, but I'm having issues broadcasting you guys for some reason.
Okay.
Right, I got Tom here.
Can you see me, unfortunately?
Yes, we can, indeed.
Is that up there? Where's your burritos?
They're down here.
They're not on your...
I was going to show you them, but I don't think you want to see my half-eaten burrito.
I did not want to say
Are you
burritos.
eating burritos in your office, Tom?
I am.
Cheeky. I don't know whether my internet connection is a bit slow.
No, we can see you nice and clearly.
Oh, right,
Yes,
cool.
for some reason, like we can see everyone except for you, Andy, just yet. Hopefully it will catch up.
Why have you blurred out the background, Pete? Is there something going on back there?
Yes.
Always something going on.
You're fine.
It's just that the original office, there's always something going on behind you.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Do tell whilst you're waiting.
Well, no, I think Pete, we used to decorate his walls with a variety of choice images. It was usually cards with various sketches of Pete.
Top CUNTS, weren't it? I've still got them somewhere.
Yeah, there was it became quite a collection, didn't it?
For some reason we can't see you, Andy.
Do you
I
want
don't know.
me to put the phone down? Do you want to call me back, Ash?
No, I can see you in Skype. It's just for some reason it just refuses to connect with a stream. So it's not your connection. It's something on my end.
Okay.
So people should be able to hear. Is everyone hearing Scottish Andy Sandham by any chance? Everyone should be able to.
And yeah, no longer Scottish, I don't think. But,
You actually sound more Scottish now than the last time I went to see you because you
Really?
sounded very southern then. Yeah.
well, we saw Gibby at that last do, and he said I was a Cockney Dutchman. So
Quite the combo.
Right, I'm just about to show you the current live stream so you'll be able to see what's actually happening as well. So, yeah, so instead of Andy, we have a big blob here saying Skype for some reason. No idea why it's doing that. I will just actually add you again and see if that's gonna help things. You know, live streams are like that, always something happens.
do you want me just to put the phone down, Ash, and then call me back? Or?
Yeah, let's
I'll just put it down.
Yeah, put it down and call again. Let's see what happens. Andy is actually a Skype glob. Someone says in the chat. Let's see. How are we all?
Good at the minute. Yeah.
Are you okay now, Peter? I know you felt a bit.
Still a bit ropey, but you know.
Someone is asking, is that Winston referring to Tom?
It's the blonde Winston, yeah.
Right, for some what this. Yes, just join. Just rejoin. Yes.
Did you record those sound effects for Winston, Peter? From were they from you?
I think, do you know what it is? I think I remember Martin having a tea tray and just using that for the rattling, but I think the farts, you know, were from Phil Chapman.
Yeah, you're talking about Winston.
Yeah.
Actually, probably.
Yeah, because I was reading that weird book today, and it said that the farting was introduced.
There we go.
Hey, the farting
now
was
we got 'em.
introduced in Tomb Raider 2.
Yeah, it was before my time. It was introduced, but I remember recording.
It's switching between active speakers. I can't keep Andy in it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, you know what I have here? I have actually. Can you actually see the screen? That's
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a quick surprise for you actually here.
Hey.
Here are some old photos of you guys. This is how you all looked before. What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
I've still got the same amount of hair, which, mind you, yeah, I think Tom's lost it a bit. I remember that room. That was the powerhouse, wasn't it?
Jesus.
Yeah, many late nights in that area.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh God.
Look at Pete in his dynamic pose.
Yeah.
He's always posed like that. That's all he does these days.
I've never them knobs. I just did it for the pros.
Yeah, that was a different office, wasn't it? Was that at Pride Park?
No, that one was I'm just chewing some apples at the minute. That was on Ashbourne Road.
Ashbourne Road. Yeah. Okay.
What are you eating there?
Apples, because I'm healthy.
Oh, right. Since when are you healthy?
Me and Tom are laughing at that one.
Right, I'm just gonna keep one person in, so whoever is talking we will be able to see you loud and clear, just as a compromise. Okay, so welcome to the stream. Sorry for the bad start of the evening, just because things happen. I see lots of you guys in the chat. I will be reading all your questions and all your messages to developers. By all means, please do. So there's the one from Thomas Simmons. Hello everyone. Hi Andy, Tom, and Peter. Long time fan and level editor builder here. Curious to hear your insights. So we will be able to do that. So I'm just gonna call AJ now from Survivor Reborn, who will be actually playing the game as well. And he'll be playing the game. We'll be playing selected levels, focusing on levels that Andy Sanham designed, and also beginning, middle, and end structure, because Andy was also the writer for the game. I should probably introduce who did what. So Andy Sanham here, the beautiful Scottish guy with amazing hair. He was the writer for Tomb Raider 4 and 5 and 3. No, you weren't, weren't you?
No, it was still God, I can't remember her name. Vicky.
Vicky Arnold.
3, yeah.
Yeah, and you were a level designer for Tomb Raider 3, did London.
Yeah, that's where it all began. Yep.
Yeah. So that's Andy Sanham. There's Peter Connolly as well. Do you mind to say something so the camera switches to you?
Yes, it's a bit odd because I've got the Skype on and then I've also got the live feed on. It's like a delay, so yeah, I'm going to turn the live.
Yeah, just focus on Skype. Yeah, and Peter Connolly did the music, barely, and sound effects for Tomb Raider 4, 5, and 6. He also done some sound effects and music for Tomb Raider 3 as well.
Yes.
Yes. And there is Tom Scott. Tom, say hello.
Hello.
He's down for a bit of burrito, by the sound of it.
Stop interrupting people, Peter, because we need to see Tom. It's active speaker only is displayed. So Tom, say hello.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Yeah, so Tom was AI programmer for... we still see Peter for some reason. Tom was AI programmer for Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3, and 4?
I was programmer for 3, 4, and 5.
3, 4, and 5. I should have done my research better. So these are the guys, and we will be playing some games, Tomb Raider 4 today with them. With AJ actually playing the game, and we just observing. I'm reading out your questions, and you guys having a banter and a laugh and making fun of Peter's face, as always.
Farting.
Farting as well. So I'm just gonna call now with screen share to AJ. who is also in the call, but he's mute. Okay, so I'm receiving a call from AJ now. Right, I see the game. I'm just gonna make it full screen. Oh, why can't I make it full screen? There we go. And yep, I'm just switching to.
Oh, hello.
There we go. There we go.
I'm back to Skype.
Yeah, I don't know why it fucking does it. I just give up on life today.
Oh, here she comes. There's Von Croy. Yeah.
Here's Von Croy.
Do the work now.
Yep. I will keep it like that, just since Andy talks more than anyone else anyway, so that might just about work.
I think you wait till you get Tom and Pete going. Oh, look at his little face. So yeah, I do remember this. I do remember Tom's nightmares with that level.
Yeah, so this almost gave me a nervous breakdown, this level, because of basically having to get Von Croy to do the tutorial where he had to stay with you throughout the entire level, which was fine if you did the normal things, but obviously all of the testers and players went out of their way to do things that would break it. And,
God, I haven't seen this for years. This rings a bell. I was just sitting there having nightmares. What was the issues used to happen? You used to just flip out of the level and things. Or?
Well, the thing is, you could do things like if you jumped as Lara onto the space where Von Croy was, then you couldn't latch on without going through Von Croy. Or sometimes you'd fall down, and then Von Croy would fall down after you, and it was So it was just.
This is the Terry's Chocolate Orange, isn't it? Where Von Croy, where Von Croy gets trapped in the giant Terry's Chocolate Orange. Phil built it and then rolled it out and then showed it to us, and we were like, "Is that not a Terry's Chocolate Orange?" And he got a bit of a rage on. Yeah, this is the. I remember it's gone on.
Press and hold.
No. All I was going to say is, I think at the end, one of the ways we stopped me having a nervous breakdown was to do this. Cheeky little cutscenes from time to time to basically put everything back in its right position, because I think originally it was the entire thing was done as playable, but it was too fragile. So
that's quite clever, doesn't it? That little pickup down the bottom with the gold. Yeah, that was it. Who actually built this level? Did we all do a bit of it, or?
Push.
I think it was Jamie Morton.
I was just going to say Jamie Morton, yeah.
Alright, cool.
Was it definitely him, yeah?
I'm not sure.
Not definite, but it's looking that way.
Someone is asking, did Heather Gibson have any input on this level? I believe Heather was already working on Project Eden at this point, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, so she wasn't involved in Tomb Raider anymore.
Yeah, she left on the start of Tomb Raider 3, so the team's changed on Tomb Raider 3 for various reasons. But Heather handed over quite a lot of her level to Jamie. It was Anchor. What was it?
Yeah.
This is Anchor, yeah.
We used to have a producer called Andy Watt who really got on our wick, and so he was constantly referred to as Anchor Watt. Do you remember that?
I do.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, or sometimes that anchor.
Because he used to have a little. It was before sort of scheduling software, and he used to come and sit on the end of your table and go, "Right, have you done this?" We were like totally used to just doing whatever we wanted, with regards to scheduling our time. And it was just the first time we'd been introduced to proper producers, and it was like really irritating.
I have a question here for Tom from Przemysław Kaczeriński. Jesus, I butchered your name there. Sorry about that. How did you manage to make Von Croy climb geometry pretty much like Lara? It must have been a nightmare to code him, especially falling and climbing up and down.
This gap is wider.
It was a bit. So I think in the original, the first two Tomb Raiders, the enemies could climb. But one of the things that I introduced in Tomb 4 was being able to jump, because up until then the enemies couldn't jump, and that was like one of the really big things I wanted to get in from between the third and fourth game. I think because originally I was a player I loved Tomb Raider 1 and 2 and really enjoyed them, but all of the things I'd kind of wanted to see in the game when I was a player, I actually kind of got to put in when I was the AI programmer. And one of the big things that used to annoy me was how easy it was to find exploits in the early games. You know, you could just stand on top of something and shoot everything because you knew they couldn't get to you.
That's what I did.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what we all did. And so, like, one of the big things I wanted to do was basically make sure that wherever Lara could go, the enemies could go too.
Okay. Is the blue haze intentional? There's lots of blue haze involved in all the levels in Tomb Raider 4, particularly, where, for example, like in the bottom of this bit, I believe there is some somewhere there. So was that intentional? It doesn't.
Well, we did. I don't think we. I was reading about Gibby's graphical input on 4, but I didn't ever really. Did we play it on the PC? We used to just play it on the PS1, didn't we? We used to just spurt it onto the PS1, as they say. So you used to. Is that true? That's what I remember. I remember sitting where we had to build.
There was one programmer. There was a guy. Richard Flowers was the PC programmer. So basically, but because the PlayStation was like the lowest common denominator, we had to kind of do stuff for the PlayStation to make sure, because if it worked on that, it would definitely work on PC.
Yeah. So we didn't really have a lot of input into the PC version. So I remember there was a message. I was reading about Richard Flowers putting his message in for to his kids saying, "Thank you for stealing my life." Have you heard about that?
I haven't heard that, but he got really ill, didn't he?
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He properly had a stress, like the stress just did horrible physical things to him.
When was this?
I can't remember if it's Tomb 4 or Tomb 5, but I remember him really, yeah, he had a bad time, and it was just 6 months of working late and 80-hour weeks, and I know that Rich Flower was yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I remember we got film crews in quite frequently. And you at one point, Tom, you almost stabbed somebody in the face when they turned up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the night before the deadline of maybe this one. We'd been there like solidly for 2 or 3 days, and I was just speaking to Louise on the phone, and I think our middle kid was about 6 months old, and I hadn't been home for 3 days, and I was kind of quite emotional, and I suddenly realised there was a film crew phoning me while I was talking to Louise on the phone, and
they were filming you, weren't they, while you were, they got a camera in your face, and right enough you were quite angry. Yeah.
I'm just catching up on the chat here. Sorry, Andy, I will come back to you in a sec. Aga M is saying, thank you so much for creating the best game in the world. Someone is asking, why did he not know about the stream? I don't know where the fuck you live, someone. I've been promoting it for 3 days everywhere, so your fault.
Hey, Ash. I got a quick question while we're on the subject of...
Yeah, this is AJ, who is streaming.
Hi, AJ.
Hey. The Dreamcast version was the only one that had a dynamic shadow instead of the circular shadow. Mm-hmm. Do you guys know who was actually behind the Dreamcast version, or who worked on it?
Yeah. Go on, Tom.
No, go on. It's all right.
I was going to say it's Jason Gosling, wasn't it?
Oh, no, I thought it was Alex. It was Alex Davis, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Alex. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so in the same way that Richard Flower basically did the PC version single-handed, Alex Davis did the programming for Dreamcast pretty much on his own.
Right, cool.
I think.
What did Jason Gosling do?
I never knew you cared.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they might have swapped over because Jason Gosling was definitely doing it, doing the Dreamcast at the start, because he was in the famous photo where Toby looks sort of like a little weird twisted leprechaun.
It was definitely Alex towards the end. It was at least the end of the 4th. We get off of 5. I remember dealing with him because there was some music changes in Dreamcast, so Alex I was dealing with.
Right, okay. Yeah.
This was your first Tomb Raider game, Peter, so, like, as in proper, I know you worked on Tomb Raider 3, but I mean, like, this one is the one you actually done, Jesus Christ, I can't English there at all. This is the proper one you've done in terms of like, you know, music and sound effects and stuff like that. So how difficult was it? Or because I know that like Andy clearly says it was quite stressful, but was it for you as well?
It was huge. I mean, obviously being my first gig, I didn't really want to let anyone down. But you know, inside I was thinking, this is like a 4-man job. But you kind of at the time you're still making that transition from doing everything on your own kind of thing, you know, being involved with every aspect of the way. So, and with it being my first proper gig, I was like, I didn't really want to shout out much and say, you know, this really needs, you know, more than one person, you know, working on the project. But yeah, it was intense. We lived at the office for months on end, for 7 days a week. For the past 3 to 6 months, and I'm sure it's the same for you guys as well. You know, I mean, we're doing like 15, 16-hour days. Last few days of the project, we had we stayed in the office for 2 or 3 days. I had a camp office. You know, it was quite intense. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that we were frequently we'd either be coming out or leaving the office. And we were all it was basically just us in a room, and Pete was in a room down the corridor that we used to go and visit him. But it was basically just, you know, a room where we were all in it together, and so, you know, we were all really close at all times, you know, both physically and mentally, you know, we had to be. But you know, one of us would sometimes just go to sleep in their arms on the desk, you know, and then you just leave them and try and be quiet, and then they'd be asleep for like 6 hours or 4 hours, and then you take it in turns really and do shifts on sleeping and things. Remember, I used to hallucinate as well. You know, that me and Jamie had I remember about 4 in the morning. No, it must have been about 5 in the morning. We both the door sort of creaked open behind us, and nobody else was in the room apart from me and Jamie. And this little tiny lady came in with a sort of vacuum like up there in front of her, pushing the. And me and Jamie were looking at each other like, because she was the same size as the vacuum, and we were looking at each other like, is that person real? And yeah, we both kind of agreed that yes, it was a real human. It was just a little cleaning lady that popped in at 5 in the morning, and we just you know, we've been up for like 3 days solid, and we were just like, is that a real human or is it a
Now what you think, you know, you see things in completely odd circumstances that you just can't doubt what, you know, that did you actually see it or not. It's weird. It just that the sleep deprivation really screws with your kind of mentality.
The game looks really nice actually, and thanks to AJ for playing it. I mean, you know, all the animations are really nice, and you know, I do remember Daz used to get on our tits, to excuse the French, because Daz was animating, Darren Wakeman was animating Lara on 4, I think. And he basically used to just do his hours, did his job, went home at 5 there, she's getting the backpack. Happy days. We stole that off the start of Indiana Jones, obviously, when he falls through the roof of the train carriage at the start of the Indiana Jones.
There is Indiana Jones later on this level, unless we missed him. I don't think we did.
We just went by him. I'll go back so you can see him.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Please. So yeah, there is Indiana Jones already. This is just some skeleton guy. Yeah. So people are like. Before I was like preparing for the stream, I was downloading those 90s commercial videos and stuff like that. And because I know this game you guys didn't really want to do, because you wanted to do like Tomb Raider 1 and 2, and then there go Indiana Jones.
No,
there's a whip and a hat.
I don't know if that's true, Ash. I mean, I think we didn't want to do 5, but we did want to do this one.
Oh yeah, right. We did. Yeah, we loved it. Yeah, Tomb Raider 4. I think we were all really happy with.
Yeah, I think this is definitely my favorite. This is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, it is mine as well in terms of gameplay. I like Tomb Raider 5 and 4, like and then Angel of Darkness, obviously. But these are my top 3 Tomb Raider games. For some reason, I just thought this is the one you actually didn't want to make. But no, again, that might be weird.
Yeah, Tomb 5. Yeah, go on, Tom.
No, all I was going to say was because I think Tomb 3, we were all trying to work out. We didn't have a clue what we're kind of all learning the system in Tomb 3. And I think there were loads of things that we wanted to do in Tomb 3 but didn't have time to do. And then I think in Tomb 4 we'd kind of learned all those lessons and we did the stuff and we knew what we were doing. So we got to do all of the stuff, all of the ideas that we'd had, we managed to do. And then I think by the time, you know, we'd done Tomb 4, we were all sick to death of it. So doing Tomb 5 was was one Tomb Raider too many in some ways, but this one I think we really liked, apart from bloody Von Croy doing this tutorial.
Yeah, I'll tell you something else.
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
So I was just going to go on, Pete. I was going to say about something you might remember, Pete. That did you come down to the voice recordings for Tomb 4? Do you remember them? I think that's probably where we first sort of became friends. But do you remember there was? He's quite prevalent in video game voiceover work. It's Kerry Shale, was it? Kerry.
I'm still in touch with him these days. I'm trying to think of his name. He was from All in the Game, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was part of Side as well. We went down to Side. Yeah. Did we go to Side for 4?
Do you know what it is? I think so. It was definitely. It was in Soho.
Yeah. It was Side. Yeah.
To the right, the path of the erect.
Yeah. But
is that when we got drunk in Soho on the way back?
You know me, Werner.
I don't drink, Pete. I don't go for that. I might have had a couple of shandies, yes.
Yeah.
Typical.
I think,
there is a question for... Sorry, Peter, what are you saying?
Well, I just remember being back on the getting the last train, and then me and Andy Sandham just kind of taking over the carriage because we're just... It were in a bit of a mess. It was bonding session.
You're a mess even when you're not a mess, Peter. I can't imagine what the mess of you are when you're actually a mess. There's a question for Tom, speedrunner question from DJ Full. What determines the quick run of One Croy after pushing the first switch? I tried like 200 times, because he's sometimes faster, sometimes fast, sometimes slow. Do you want me to repeat that? I butchered that question as well.
Yeah, sorry. Why did Von Croy run fast after the first switch, did you say?
Yeah, so what determines the quick run of One Croy after pushing the first switch?
So I think the whole point was, again, we couldn't... So there was this real problem that basically if you caught up with him, there were all sorts of issues about you trying to jump into the same space he was in. So basically, from my memory, which is a bit hazy, but I think we just had to get him out of the way. So basically, we just had to make sure he just absolutely sprinted off, so that you couldn't catch up with him until we wanted you to, until it was safe to do so. That I think was it, because there are so many different ways in which it can mess up if you kind of get to the state where you're in the same space as Von Croy. So I think that was it. Does that sound?
I forgot the ropes. Forgot about them.
Oh yeah, there's a question from Thomas. How difficult was it to implement the rope mechanic?
I remember. Yeah, go on, Tom.
No, it's all right.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not a programmer, but I do remember there was some sleepless nights over that one. But I mean, they were determined. Were you were part of that? Were you, Tom, implementing the rope?
No, I think so. Again, I think that might have been Richard Flowers that actually did that. Even though he was a PC programmer, but I mean, he did bits and pieces here and there, and I think he might have done the rope stuff, which, again, for its time, I know compared to what you get nowadays, it may not look that great, but for its time, I think it was pretty impressive, really. The rope mechanics.
It looked really nice there. I mean, it was really nice level design as well there. With regards, we used to, one of the main things we automatically did was in learning or teaching areas in the game, we'd always put a safe falling point, so that, well, we started doing it by 4. We'd always put a safe landing zone and then a route back up, which even these days it's quite a common level design technique, but you still see people messing that up in level design these days, but yeah, when you try to teach somebody a mechanic like the rope mechanic, it's got to be a safe zone, otherwise they're not going to learn it, are they, if they keep dying all the time. So yeah, it's quite a big level, isn't it? I don't remember it being this big.
This is the second one now. This is another level. This is on where you're supposed to outrun Von Croy, otherwise you will have to go through, like, he will like make you go through like more difficult way to finish this level, because he's an asshole. So he turns on like various doors and switches that block you from normal way to go through things, and you will have to like go through dangerous ones. I just wanted to address a few questions on the chat. People asking about Angel of Darkness. Now we're focusing on Tomb Raider 4 on this one, so please don't ask questions about Angel of Darkness, simply because Andy didn't work on Angel of Darkness. Tom, did you work on Angel of Darkness?
I didn't know. I mean,
yeah. So so like only Peter did really. So there's no point of asking Angel of Darkness questions because only Peter worked on it. So sorry about that. Yeah. So there was another one. Why did you guys remove save crystals from the game? I don't know who asked this question. Very sorry about that. It was way before, like in the.
You
in the
were talking about this, Tom. Yeah. You were talking about this and the other. Yeah.
I was, just because it's interesting, because if you look at games around the time, so things like Final Fantasy VII, they were using save crystals, and it was like, but it's a really it's kind of a bad game mechanic, because it's just too easy to get stuck or to get into a position where you haven't got any save crystals left, or you can't get to it. It was just very frustrating for the player. So I think we just felt that it was too frustrating for the player, and it was one of those things that. You know, I think one of those bits of game design that really got, you know, it was a better system just to go for the general save. I don't know what you guys think about it.
Yeah, I was just thinking like that. I think we got a bit tired. I think players got a bit tired of it at that point. But if you look at Dark Souls now, if you remember, you know, when games, you know, rock hard games started kind of coming back into fashion again, that you know, it did come back into fashion because obviously the enormous satisfaction of getting to, for instance, a fire in Dark Souls or getting to a save crystal, you know, the tension builds up and up, doesn't it, to a point where you're almost about to pass out, you know, and that's what's great about, I think, about save crystals. But I think this game particularly, like, you know, this whole level is really a tutorial. We try to sort of onboard and ease people into the game to kind of make sure it was accessible to more people, really. And I think that's also part of the save crystal decision. There's the tangerine, there's chocolate orange.
Get stuck in.
You see, I just saw in the chat a couple of people asking about the length of levels, and that was one thing I wanted to say is just. It's crazy, really, given the limitations of the PlayStation, just how huge Tomb Raider levels were. They're much bigger than levels tend to be nowadays. And considering just how little memory there was in the PlayStation 1, it's bonkers that the levels were just so enormous.
Well, I think this is why there is such a huge community. You can see how mad the chat is today. The huge community of those who actually like the original Tomb Raider games, because the games were so huge and the levels so massive, all the classic ones, including Angel of Darkness, that it gave us the true sense of escapism, because you could get lost in them for months. So I think this is the whole point why we still love them. When you play some other modern games, you can finish them within a day. So there's no way it's going to happen with this one. There is a question from, I'm just finding it, from Jugam16. What were things you wanted to have in the game but you didn't have enough time to implement? We know about the diary and flashlight. Could you talk some stuff about them and any other such elements that were left out?
I can't really think back that far. I mean, you know, there was always things we wanted, but I mean, we were always kind of pushing the limits. I mean, how many vehicles did we have in this game? We had I know we had the motorbike.
No, there's no motorbike. In this one, there's just Land Rover that you call Jeep. I think it was Land Rover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. I thought there was a Jeep.
Oh, there was motorbikes. Sorry. Yeah, there is motorbike. Yeah.
I thought I'd had some sort of fever dream about.
No, that's correct. There is a motorbike in the Citadel. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Pete, did you think of anything you wanted to put in, or it's quite hard remembering? Because once we started doing it, you know, we kind of got into the flow of just having to hammer it, really. Sorry, Pete, go on.
No, I'm just listening to what you're saying, it's fine. I've got nothing to add to that, so it's all well said.
It's also just, I mean, just in this of the PlayStation 1 was the primary platform, and just it's just hard to remember nowadays just how limited that was in terms of like the memory. What was it 2 megabytes, something like that? I mean, it's just unbelievable the limited amount of memory that had. So I think we were a bit frustrated seeing PC games that were around at the time that we couldn't really do the same things, because we had to make sure it worked on PlayStation 1.
actually. This is nice. Well done. So I remember we used to obviously liberally nick out of films as all games now. Well, actually, films now nick more out of games than games nick out of films. You know, you spot a lot of Christopher Nolan films. What was I watching? Annihilation. Don't know if you've seen that Alex Garland film. And the majority of that is kind of nicked out of games. It's even got the Tomb Raider Lara versus Lara puzzle at the end of that film. If you haven't seen it, guys, watch Annihilation. Alex Garland, he's stolen some Tomb Raider puzzles. But I was just saying about nicking stuff out of games. So I think this is the game of the scarabs, isn't it?
It is. So yeah, I did nick the scarabs straight out of the Mummy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this was the Mummy time, wasn't it? This, yeah. I forgot about that.
Interestingly, so I mean, it was called The Last Revelation. And this is, I think I've told this story before, but we used to always make a big list of game names. So the marketing would say, "Can you please send us a load of names through for what you feel Tomb Raider 4 should be called?" And so we'd make a massive list, and there'd be lots of stupid ones on there, like Chronos Crypticos. Don't ask. So Tomb Raider 4, you know, we'd always put one in that was kind of linked to the latest Indiana Jones film, and like with a word that was slightly changed, or and I was always the one that we always had a bet on, that they would immediately go for the one that had one of the words out of the latest Indiana Jones film. So in this case, it was what was the Indiana Jones film called? The Last Crusade. So this is The Last Revelation.
There was actually, I received similar list for the names for the Angel of Darkness. I know we don't talk about Angel of Darkness because you guys weren't involved, but just talking about that thing was, someone suggested a name for it, Lara Croft. Quite nice, actually. That was a genuine suggestion for the game. Some of them were like some ancient shit or something like that, just random crap in it, literally. It was just amazing to read. If you find that kind of stuff for me, please, we would love to publish that.
Yeah, I wish I could.
What do you think, Peter?
Sorry, Pete.
Hello? Peter?
Hello? Hi. No, I'm sorry, I spoke about 5 minutes ago, so there must be some sort of delay.
Alright.
You might have been a time warp.
Yeah. Another question, who from Premslav, I can't do your name, sorry. What was the reason you decided to release Tomb Raider level editor, and was it hard to prepare Tomb Raider 4 engine for it? Also, why Tomb Raider 4 engine and not Tomb Raider 5, which is Chronicles?
Yeah, so we didn't have any part of that really. So you know, we were always the core team that we just sat in our respective rooms and would just walk up and down the building, going into each other's rooms and double checking everything. Or in, you know, the core team, you know, me and Tom and Pete Duncan and Rich Morton and so on and so forth. We all just like checked over each other's shoulders and asked if we needed something or got stuck. But yeah, then we had an enormous. We used to see these dudes at Christmas parties. We had 78,000 people that we never ever saw or had no idea what they did. And there were the marketing and the departments and the men in the suits and the money men and the production men and the IDOS side. And so basically, they decided that it would kind of boost the sales again if we put a level editor in, which I only know that because I've read it in the giant white pamphlet that, of Tomb Raider. But yes, I mean, you know, it just always. I just remember Christmas parties where it would be us, who were the people making the bloody game, and then it would just be like a swathes of thousands of suits, all, you know, like, you know, drinking and eating caviar, and we were like, bloody hell, is this where they live their lives when, you know, when we're sitting in that bloody room for
that's truth for any company, I suppose, these days.
Well, it is true, but I mean, it's just the amount of people that were behind the scenes. You know, I mean, Ian Livingstone used to visit occasionally and get growled at by some of the members of staff. Do you remember that, guys?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the interesting things again, because I mean, if you look at the credits list for I don't know, Red Dead Redemption or Last of Us 2. I mean, we were a team of what, 12? I mean, the core team for this Tomb Raider was, I think, maybe 12 people. So this game was basically made by 12 people. In terms of actual artists and programmers and musicians, I think that was it.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, there was a lot of people, a lot of hangers on. I mean, I'm sure they all did important stuff, but at the time it felt like.
Well, it's true though. I mean, we go down to London and be like, how could all these people be doing? But just putting the bloody thing in a box, where did those have to sit there and I know obviously a lot of these people are doing very important jobs, but I don't think they needed quite as many. They didn't need 6,000 people. I wouldn't be able to 12 people making the game. Who made this level? This looks really nice. Is this Rich's?
Jamie Morton's this one.
Are you sure?
Not 100%. No, but it's
nice.
I think Jamie Morton should be.
We can guess
the
from
best
like
level designer.
name of the levels, because levels are actually called after whoever made them. So there are there's Andrea 1, Andrea 2, Andrea 3. There is Andy 1, 2, 3, which is Andy Sandham, obviously, and Joby as well. So no to ready for is like, I know Chronicles is like that. So it could be. We need to find out who actually did which level. That was actually someone asked me on Twitter a few days ago. Here's the question: who did which level? And I'm like, well, Andy did Cairo. That's all I can tell you.
I can't even remember Cairo.
There's a deleted level left in the game called the Valley Temple. Is there any interesting story behind this level?
No.
I'd never heard of that. Is there any reason why it's left out?
We don't know who. I don't know who's made that, mate.
I think Joby. Well, I think someone said Joby did it.
Oh, right.
Joby did the Giza, they say here.
Yeah, Joby did Giza as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know where Joby's gone. Actually, I hope he's still alive.
I was speaking to him the other day.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah. He's around. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, okay, cool.
There's someone is actually asking if is anyone still in contact with him, because nothing was heard of him for a while. That was Joby Wood's level. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the valley.
My favorite memories of Joby were that so often as the levels got more complicated, we used to run into problems with being able to render it all, and Del Lee Gilchrist got so pissed off that he put basically, if you had over 2,000 polys in showing on the screen at any one time, you had a big warning saying you have exceeded the 2,000 poly limit, and because basically it just used to start running like a dog if you exceeded that limit. And I just remember Joby almost punching him when he was just going, can you just take this message off my screen? And Del was just going, no, you just fix your level, mate.
I remember Del and Joby used to live together. Well, they had lived together previously, and they were close friends. But I remember at one point, I don't know, was it? It might have been you, Tom. We needed to get hold of Del, and this was after Tomb Raider. But we found him. We couldn't get hold of him. He'd locked his doors and closed all his blinds, and just disappeared for about 3 weeks. And the only way we managed to get in contact with him was via finding his character in EverQuest.
Oh God, yeah. Del was proper EverQuest man, wasn't he?
Yeah. So if we needed to get in touch with him, so you have to go in and find his avatar on his screen. This looks really beautiful. I'm really impressed. I mean, I thought it looked like a piece of old tosh, but it's
No, it does still stand. Well, obviously it doesn't look incredible on, say, modern gen consoles, but then again you have games like Minecraft which people play, and it's much better than Minecraft in terms of graphics. So no, it's still pretty. There's actually a huge level editor community going on. They modded the shit out of level editor. Like some of the levels you will not guess were made into my level editor. Someone is actually asking this in the chat. Again, sorry, I forgot the name. I remember it was somewhere above. Andy, have you played any level editor made games?
I haven't, guys, but I should say that because I'm running a game design course, and it is game design, not game development. And so I was actually going to sort of start rejigging some of the levels in Unreal, and Ash's pointing me to some of the assets. But yeah, I mean, certainly if you could point me to some of the nicer levels, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to play them and have a look. And I mean, I've seen some comments about Ludsgate and Kill Andy, quite right. As I said to my students, that if the internet existed when we were making Tomb 3, for instance, then there would have been quite a lot of trolling and anger directed towards some of us. But yeah, it was very much a learning process, you know. So I do, and you know, you do learn by your mistakes, and Lod's Gate was kind of quite a large and intricate mistake. But you know, it's an ongoing process with level design. And by Tomb 4, we kind of really got our heads around it, and we were quite comfortable kind of guiding the player through levels and getting the difficulty curve right, which is something I probably asked the people who are watching, is that do you feel that the difficulty curve was kind of was it a kind of nice difficulty curve through the games, because we'd never really played each other's levels, so it was kind of it was a guessing game.
Well, for me as a player, it was always difficult. It was just insanely difficult. Some of them, particularly in, like the Karnak levels, were quite. Alexandria levels, particularly, were very difficult because of the open environment. And you would have like a hub, which I think was Coastal Ruins, and it was just like to figure it out was just absolutely insane. AJ, what do you think? You're playing this.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Ash. It's mostly when you have the interconnecting levels, like Alexandria, you're going back and forth, and it gets really confusing in those levels, like City of the Dead too.
I don't know who did that level.
That's in Alexandria, I think, no? City of the Dead. 1 second, sorry, I'm just reading a question here. Yeah, carry on, AJ, sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I thought the beginning of the game, difficulty-wise, was really good. It eased the player in really well. It's just once you get to those open world areas, like when you get to Alexandria, when you meet John Yves, or Ash, you know how to pronounce his name correctly.
Przemysław. Yes.
Yeah, John Eves. Yeah.
Jean Eves.
Yeah,
sorry, I thought you meant.
Andrea.
I was confused. I might have too much Pepsi Max.
So I think it's an interesting thing in game development, and I think we definitely saw it in Tomb Raider, was that basically you've got a team of testers, and they basically become experts at the game because they're playing it every day, and you get this kind of difficulty creep in when they early on in the game development you probably got the difficulty about right, and then the play testers get more and more expert at playing the game because they're playing it over and over and over again, and so what they see as the correct level of difficulty for a novice player is much too hard. And I think we were kind of a bit aware of that, but probably we didn't take it into account as much as we should have done, I think.
No, certainly not with Tomb 3, as in. Go on, Pete.
You know what's actually kind of funny? Reviewers back in the day, I remember getting like PlayStation Magazine, and they would rip Tomb Raider 4 apart for being so hard. But now they're doing the opposite. Like, if games are too easy, they're ripping them apart for that. It's like come full circle.
No.
Well, it does. You do get sort of curves, don't you? Of, like I was saying with Dark Souls, is that
save game.
What?
I'm telling AJ to save game. So
So,
he doesn't need to run back.
You go through kind of periods of super hardcore games and kind of easier games, and I think with Tomb 4 we thought we were moving towards a slightly easier game, but Tomb 3 was berserk. I mean, I used to try and torture Dave Ward, who was my tester. I mean, he used to come in, virtually crying, and then I used to think it was great to try and mind you, we took a lot of design ideas on board from the testers. It was always kind of a flat structure at core. They never really gave us titles, there was never really leads. So we always did listen to the testers, unless they were talking crap, of course.
Right, I want to catch up on the chat here. So XFS is asking whether you guys used Tomb Raider 3 model originally for this game before this one was created, or was it just waiting on a new one?
I mean, probably early on in development, I'm sure we just used all of the resources out of Tomb Raider 3, but then I think the model was gradually refined as during development.
You guys noticed that she's missing holster straps on the actual in-game model, but they are in the cutscene as well. That someone asked that earlier as well. So, do you guys have any input on this?
Yeah. I told Tom to fix that, and he listened to me.
Oh, terrible person.
Is that what round? Or should that be round her legs?
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't know.
It is in the FMVs by Pete Bernard, who you call Famyard all the time.
Yeah.
So it's in the cutscenes, but it's not in actual games.
See, we didn't. We never really saw the cutscenes until we saw the cutscenes because Phil did them, the in-game cutscenes, but the actual FMV we didn't see that till really late on. Again, Pete had a room full of like 7 people, and he was actually in charge of that department, and he would churn out some amazing stuff, really, under the circumstances. And now obviously you don't need to make FMVs because the in-game models. Look at the face on that dude.
Looks like Peter when he's surprised.
I seem to remember making Phil put that expression in. We wanted an expression change, and I remember that stupid texture swap on his face, which I quite like. I'm going to defend that.
Yeah, that's like when I asked Gibby to put in the ghost in the British Museum. I said there's supposed to be a haunted sarcophagus in the British Museum, where a ghost of a mummy floats out each evening. I want to try and replicate that. And Phil was like, "Yeah, I'd love to do that." And then programmer Gibby said, he says, "No, I'll give it a go. It'll only take me half an hour." And I said, "All right, Gibby, I'll come back in half an hour." Came back in half an hour, and he says, "Look at this, check this out." And he got like 2 glowing dots for the eyes, and he got like 6 dots for a smiley mouth, and then a dot for the nose. And I was like, "Gibby, what are you talking? Are you joking?" And he was like, "No, this is amazing. Look, I've saved. I don't think how much time I've saved." I'm like, "Dude, it's not quite what I was. It's not really instilling fear in me. It's more kind of looks like a series of glowing dots." Anyway.
Right, catching up on the chat. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, was saying.
I was just gonna say we were talking about cutting floor stuff earlier, Ash. At any point, did you guys have Croft Manor planned for 4, or was it always just gonna be like the Von Croy tutorial?
That's actually a question from the chat from Massey as well. So there you go.
I saw that question. So I reckon we wanted to start. I think it was partly because we wanted to start with young Lara. But I think also we kind of wanted to, we wanted to do something different. And we wanted that tutorial to be more interesting rather than just yet another rehash of Croft Manor. Was that right, Andy?
Well, I think that we were nicking quite a lot out of the last Revelation when it started with the young Indiana Jones, and I think we might have wanted to kind of continue that theme because we really the plot, we did all sit in a room and really just kind of rework our greatest hits moments out of films that we loved and then try and squeeze them into a plot. But we still came up with quite a lot of kind of nice original ideas, and of course some amazing music, PT.
Nice.
I mean,
joking.
I think the other thing is we wanted that backstory with Von Croy, didn't we? And there was no other way really of introducing that kind of backstory of how, of her knowing him previously. That just seemed like a neat way of doing that, to have the tutorial.
Yeah, I think we were very film savvy, as everybody was in games at that point, when films were still good. So we were very film savvy, and I'd been on these writing courses, and we started to understand what antagonists were and protagonists, and as you say, 3-act structures, and we knew that we needed a kind of an antagonist to take us through the entire plot. And also we had Jean-Yves as kind of a mentor figure, who then changed into Charles Kane when he was found out to exist in real life.
I would like to address a couple of questions here from Lion or Cyborg. Lion, if you want to send me some level editor levels, and I'll pass them on to Andy, no problem. Just email them to me.
Have a look.
Regarding your question on Tomb Raider Anniversary Edition, can we please focus on Tomb Raider 4 for this stream in particular? But I will discuss it, what you asked, with people separately. Let's keep it that way. There was one question I wanted to ask. Why the Ghost in Tomb Raider 3 never made it to the final game?
I think there was some ghost in there, if I remember, that Phil had built. I was quite, I'm still quite heavily into ghosts. There was always some sort of inference of ghosts in the British Museum. With regards to some of the confusion about the level layout on Tomb 3, so I was really totally fascinated with the kind of history of London and the Masons and the underground temples and basically the underground London, really, the disused tube stations, I built a structure where it actually could exist in reality. So geometrically wise or geographically wise, it can exist, and I was so excited about that probably I perhaps didn't think about how difficult and confusing it was. So I've forgotten what the question was. Oh, sorry, the British Museum. The British Museum, there's a station under the British Museum which is no longer used, and I do like when the suits. Yeah, there is actually a British Museum station which is disused. Aldwych is open again, I think. So again, we knew nothing about this till about a week before, but they had the opening party with Jonathan Ross presenting the amazing Tomb Raider 3, and that was in the Natural History Museum. And then we found out about it, and I was like, well, it's the wrong museum. It was supposed to be British Museum, but I don't know. Oddly, it's just one final side story, and I'm going to shut up. The woman that's buying my house works at the British Museum, and she knows about the Tomb Raider level. So she was like, "Oh right, did you do that level?" She said it was really difficult. I want to kill you.
Yeah, and Peter works with someone called Lara Croft, aren't you? Lara
Croft, yeah. She lived in the next street to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
And she lived the same number, but in the next street, and I used to get her mail. It was to Lara Croft. So I used to pass it around, and then I moved, and then I came to this office where I'm at the moment, and there's one of the businesses is owned by Lara Croft, so I can't escape it.
Have you got Lara Croft in a crate behind you? Is that why it's blurred out?
That's why it's blurred out. Exactly why it's blurred out.
Thomas is asking about why did you guys choose Egypt as a prime location here, and whilst you're answering that, could you tell us a story about how I think it was Jeremy Heath Smith who wanted to send you guys to Egypt for recce and stuff like that to do like textures and things and research, and then you just ended up going to British Museum instead.
Tom?
What?
Remember we were supposed to go to Egypt, weren't we?
I think I don't think I ever was. I think it was the artists who were meant to be going. I don't think the programmers were allowed to do that. But,
anyway, basically,
I do remember that.
Yeah, and then there was some sort of massive incident over in Egypt at the time, and we were kind of getting a bit dubious. But then it turned out that inoculations took 2 weeks to take effect, and then needed to get us out virtually on the next flight so that we could hit the deadline. And so they basically said, here's a nice hotel in London next to Paternoster Row, I think, which is the street with all the booksellers on. And so we just spent a week kind of farting about buying books or taking photographs of all the walls and the floors of all the buildings that we entered, which must have looked quite odd to average layman.
I think.
Sorry. No, carry on. Sorry about that.
I was only going to say, I think we didn't we do Egypt because it was like, it's crazy that Lara Croft is all about the kind of archaeology, and yet the kind of probably the most famous archaeological area we've never kind of fully done, and it was kind of like a decision to to really concentrate on kind of one area.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we did Egypt.
Yeah, no, and also one of the reasons was that Jez said you've got to do fucking Egypt.
Jez is Jeremy Heath Smith, everyone. Just to confirm on the British Museum and the research and stuff like that for textures and artists' work. When I went to British Museum, and that happened quite a few times because reasons
You're
people
British.
visit. And yeah, I'm British next year, not yet. So from next year, so I can complain about immigrants. Basically, what I wanted to ask, did you guys actually did you take photographs from the exhibitions at the museum and use them as textures? Because some of the stuff looks very familiar to some of the artifacts in the museum. particularly like Book of the Dead stuff and.
Well, we
like
did.
That.
We always basically just either bought books on the subject matter, so that we'd all got a load of books at the British Museum or whatever area we were researching, and the internet was in its infancy, so you couldn't really get any proper images of. I remember Joby had a massive cardboard box-sized camera that he would walk around the museums with, just holding it really closely against objects and taking photos. So I think it was a mixture of just us holding cameras against walls and taking photographs of bricks. And of course, you didn't have massive texture sites back then, like textures.com and things. There was no textures. You had to scan them or take photographs of them. And so we tried to kind of get and that's why Tomb Raider's got its particular look, I think. That Toby was a bit more of a hand-drawn type of person, but we kind of went a bit more, tried to make it have a bit more of a feeling of realism that I think you can see in the levels we're looking at now. And can I just say to AJ that well done, mate, you're doing a great job.
I died here so many times when I was little, when I was playing this. Yeah, I remember all that.
So, thank you, sir.
Just talking to Lion here on the chat regarding Aldwych, you can actually visit it. You just need to sign up to mailing list and they will notify you when the tickets go on sale. Done it, been there, done that. So just sign up to the mailing list. As soon as they sell the tickets, they will notify and you can go and visit it if you're interested. Anyone else as well, by the way. The tickets were £75 each. I don't know how much they are now, but you can. They sell them in like 30 tickets per visit, so
okay,
it's small. Yeah, and I think you're limited to 3 tickets per person as well, so you can go.
Can I ask Peter a question? So Peter, how do you start thinking about music for Egypt? Do you go and study Egyptian music, or do you just make something up?
As I watched a lot of The Mummy at the time. It was mentioned earlier. And I've got the soundtrack to that, I listened to that and got a bit of inspiration from that. But generally, I just look at the background and just eventually something just drops and it kind of works for me, So
you just keep testing. Do you keep testing little tunes out, or do you just sit in room?
I do. I play the game. I play the latest build of the game. I'll just put my hands on the keyboard and just play around with whatever's happening on the screen until something sounds right, fits with it. Slowly kind of, modulate into some sort of like sense of something that's just fitting for the level,
Is it easy to make like? Is it easier to make music when you've got an image to work around?
Yes.
Yeah.
It can be. It's more precise when you do that. You're more kind of focused on what you want to achieve and what the end result wants to be. But when you left your own device and they say just do a piece of music, you just think, it's.
You like to use your left to your own devices phrase, aren't you?
Yes. But when you just kind of open with what to do, you kind of it's kind of a loose end. You hit a brick wall because it's just like, well, I've left open here. So what can I do? But when you kind of centralize it to something, it seems to just come. You play a thing, you think that doesn't work. You play that. Oh, there's a bit of that and a bit of this, and you just eventually just all welds together, and hopefully it works.
Sorry.
No, go on, Ash.
Okay, so there is a question here about level design, which probably will be for you, Andy. LOTR King Lewis is asking, did you make the whole Tomb Raider 4 story before building the levels, or did you make the story along the level building?
Well, no, we normally sort of spend a day sitting, working out the basic plot points, kind of like the enemy, the things we wanted in. So we might all have, I think Rich had some ideas about particular things he wanted in a level, and then what I do is take that away and then kind of using my newfound skills, kind of rebuild that into a game structure or a story structure. But in this case, we did that first, yes, and then what happened there is that the level designers would all just go away and basically they'd make this level design document, and then they would then I could just check that if I needed to. But I mean, we were all sitting in the same room, so it was quite easy to check that we weren't messing things up. I mean, Shell Shock 2, for instance, that Tom and Pete worked on briefly. So I was a scriptwriter on that, and it is a script that I'm proud of, even though it's one of the worst games ever made. But I mean, it's perpetually. I mean, I've got all the level designers basically, and most of them were testers, my testers from Tomb Raider, so I knew them all, and they were all just complaining perpetually about, can I not kill this dude? And I'm saying, well, you can kill that dude, but you know, you're gonna then I've got to rewrite the entire last 3/4 of the game. And it's quite a common issue with writing for games, but I think it's a lot easier if you know if the level design team and the writer are very close. You know, I think the game should always come first.
What was the whole point of collecting broken glasses of one crow at some point of the game? That's from Samantaji.
That's Tom's idea.
I have no recollection of that. What's that?
You collect his broken glasses at some point of this game, like towards the end, and she just carries them with her, and nothing happens.
What in game or in the cutscene?
In the game.
Yeah, that was Tom's
You actually
idea.
have them in your inventory and stuff. You can see them, but you can't use them, obviously.
Did she ever wear that? I was going to say, did she ever wear them?
Yeah, that would be funny.
I have no memory of that at all.
I don't think we
we
might reach
2
that,
megabytes.
actually. Right. So, do you remember any deleted levels? Does Library Vault or Ramses ring any bells? The latter was shown in the TV interview back in the day for a total of 5 seconds. This is from Jugame 16.
We did have to do kind of extra levels here and there. I mean, I remember we had to do the Times, or was it the Guardian or the Times? We had to do,
the Times.
The Times, yeah.
I can't even remember what that was. I mean, I was looking through the giant white pamphlet of Tomb Raider, and there was a lot of extra levels that the American office was doing as well that we never saw them and we never played them. Sophia came back in one of the levels, Tom, that the American team did.
Nice.
We knew none of this, you know. It was just us doing it, and then we would one day they'd go, right, it's been gold mastered, and then we would go home to sleep, and then we'd all meet in the pub the next day, and then try to kill ourselves with alcohol.
Now, this rotating room, Lion is currently asking this question. Perfect timing, because I was about to ask it as well. How did this work? How was this achieved? This rotating room puzzle. Do you guys know? I know it's not your level, but
It must have been flip maps, mustn't it? Yeah, it must have been flip maps, surely.
Yeah, I remember this being. We were really excited by this, weren't we? Yeah. Who did this?
I think it was Pete.
Jody's. Oh no?
Was it? Wasn't Pete Duncan's? No. Seems to be.
So I reckon you can see. I would say you can in this level design. I reckon you can definitely see Ocarina of Time. It kind of reminds me of a sort of Zelda-esque.
Right. Yeah.
Level.
It's very clever, isn't it? Is it really difficult?
It confused the shit out of me the first time it happened. Yeah.
Is it confusing, AJ?
Actually, no, this is one of my favorite puzzles in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, he played it so many times now, but I mean, the first time I played it was like quite confusing and disorienting. Like, what the fuck just happened? Why the room is different? But then you realize, oh, it's rotated, which it did show in the cutscene, but you kind of missed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen this. I've seen this room, so we must have been working on it partially together. Sometimes we would kind of, if there's a particularly difficult level, we would pass it between us. We did a lot of Area 51 together on Tomb 5.
Area 51 is 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, this looks really nice. It must be Pete's. It looks really subtle and nice, unlike my garish.
Who? Can we have the last name?
Pete
Duncan.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was also a Blue Peter presenter for some years. Yeah.
Was that true? Or?
Yes. Well, after he finished presenting on Blue Peter, he would come over to us in the evening.
Moonlighted poison, yeah.
Check it online. I'm telling you.
There is a question from April. Our April, Peter. You all know April. How did you research instruments for the game? Did you study traditional Egyptian instrumentation, or just go with what you heard in the Mummy?
yeah, just go with the flow. You know, I don't think there were that many. Like there was a lot of traditional instruments, but there wasn't quite a lot of Egyptian instruments in there. There was a few there, but no, there was no real emphasis on it whatsoever. It's just do what you can with what you've got, and hopefully it sounds kind of fitting.
Han Solo is saying, "Evening all. How did the engine evolve from Terrain 1, Terrain 3 to 4? Were there any major extensions in graphic capacity or anything else?" And on that username, I would like to Andy Santam to confess that it was him who sent that card to Core Design, calling everyone a twat for making Tomb Raider 4 and Tomb Raider 3. Was it you?
What was it? You yuppie.
You yuppie C words and stuff like
I'm
that.
glad you said that, mate.
Yeah.
You can shove Tomb Raider up your arse, you yuppie.
It was you, wasn't it?
It wasn't me.
Everyone thought it was you, Andy. Everyone thought it was you.
In a similar vein.
When I read that, I hear your voice, Andy. It can't be
I
another
think
voice.
it was the test. Pete. Oh God, I can't remember his name. Paul Field.
Yeah, could have been.
I'm sure. Yeah, I think it was. But I'm not going to take credit for what I thought was a fantastic piece of work. Unfortunately,
it was said from Scotland. When you were on holiday after 2 and 4 from Scotland.
Yeah.
Everybody's obsessed. I said that. It's the same as when Jez told us, called us all a massive meeting because somebody had wiped their arse on the hand towel.
I forgot about that.
Was
so
it you, Peter?
He called every single person into the main lobby of the building and said, "Right, you fuckers, somebody's wiped their arse on the hand towel, and we're not
Disgusting fuckers, I think.
we're not leaving this. We're not leaving this room. So some of us are stood on the stairs, some of us are sitting on the stairs, and some of us are just standing. And he's just sitting there, and he says, "We're not leaving this room until we find out which so and so did
was
it."
Well,
we don't know.
You, Peter.
It was somebody very angry.
Sounds like something you would do. Oh, AJ died.
Well, I thought it was Pete, but I mean, later on, as we moved into Shell Shocks 2 in the same building, you'd be hard pressed to actually notice that somebody had shat on the towel because the toilets were like a bomb had gone off, a feces bomb.
I remember
that sounds like Peter.
I went into one of the cubicles once and I saw a lump of turd like stuck to the side of the actual wood. I was like, what the hell?
Andy, can you say disgusting in the Scottish accent?
Is that Scottish? Disgusting.
Yeah, there you go. It's from the you probably seen the video. Oh, Peter, did you do the mummy voice? The mummies.
I don't know. It might be a bit of a hybrid situation. I might have used some CDs, like some CD audio, and I might have recorded some stuff.
I found the card that I was mentioning before. Why don't you C words give Lara a rest? Tomb Raider 4 is a cluttered, repetitive, tedious, monotonous, and just plain crap. You picked with the first game, you fucking jerks. 2 and 3 were fucking crap. No more Lara. Rewrite the first game, you smug yuppie C words. Shove Tomb Raider 4 up your asses.
Yeah.
So it does sound like Andy Sandham to me.
Unbelievable. I don't even swear. I mean, we all know that's definitely not me.
One day,
back
Andy,
to
you will have to let the cat out of the bag.
Hans' question. I want to find it again.
Have you actually got the card, Ash?
No, I got the scan of it.
I'll show that to the students as a treat. I say at the end of term I'll give you a special Tomb Raider treat, and then I show them that card and let them digest it.
Can I just say,
I'll send it to you, Andy.
Am I okay to comment on questions, Ash?
Yeah, please. Just before you do, I want to come back to the question from Counselor. How did the engine evolve? I think this is more for Tom. From 1, 2, and 3 to 4. How did?
I mean, the big thing was triangles. I mean, that was literally the game changer. And that was Gibby's work. So we could actually split triangles rather than it being all block based, and that made such a massive difference to what we could do with levels. And I think, I mean, a lot of it was just learning new kind of graphic abilities. And again, just this thing, I know I keep harping on about it, but it was all you know, we were always limited by what we could do on the PlayStation. That was the big limiting factor. So we had to, whatever worked, it had to be able to work in 2 megabytes, and that was everything. I mean, that's all. I mean, Lara's animations took up most of the memory on the PlayStation. That was the biggest user of memory. So basically, getting things in like the triangles working, that was a big thing, and that was the single biggest thing. And then there was, from my point of view, there was the AI stuff. So like my favorite thing was getting the enemies jumping in, and I know I've told this anecdote before, and I know it's quite nerdy and boring, but that was basically, I discovered a spare bit. That's not a spare byte, but one spare bit, a single 1 or 0 in the kind of AI data structure, and that let me do the enemies being able to jump to follow Lara around, which is why I love the skeletons in this. The skeletons were probably my favorite enemies.
I fucking hate them, you know. It's impossible to kill them unless you have like explosive.
They were the first enemy I did sound effects for.
Were they?
I did really enjoy doing the skeletons, you know.
I loved it.
Quite rewarding,
yeah. So that was really nice as well, because me and Phil Chapman sort of worked together on doing the animations, and I think the animations and the sound effects all came together really nicely on the skeletons.
Yeah.
We have in 4D, by the way. She's holding that right now.
Yeah, it looks like that was I remember this one of my favourite cutscenes.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
Really good work. Who actually, I was saying the other day, can anybody remember who actually got the job of building the Sphinx, the little amulet ankh thing in game?
No.
We used to argue over how to build various vital props. This is Horus, isn't it? And,
yeah.
So
I think this was made by Pete Farmyard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It does look like his work.
You know what, Ash? You should blow minds and show them the 4K upscaled version of these.
Oh yeah, I did upscale these to 4K. Actually, quite.
Yeah, they look beautiful. Yeah.
Are these upscaled, AJ?
These ones are not. These are just the standard. They want to touch any of that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, on my YouTube channel, you can see these in 4K. I stretched them with the AI and tried to make them look even prettier than they are, and actually did very well. It actually worked very well with Angel of Darkness cutscenes. Not so much with the 4 and 5 and previous ones as well, but still. Ken Knight is asking, any of you guys fancy making a level?
What now?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, go on. Let's have it.
Are you gonna do it?
Well, no. I am talking about just rebuilding a couple of levels for the students, just to show them basic level design techniques. I won't be rebuilding Ludsgate, you'll be pleased to know, everybody. But I was just going to rebuild a couple of the London rooftop areas and make them actually playable instead of the hardest things in the universe. Me and Tom tried to play those the other day, and this is really beautiful. I remember seeing Pete Farmyard. He just sat making this and let everybody else do all the other cutscenes. He'd obviously decided this was the one he really wanted to do. I think he spent about 6 months on this.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
It does.
The gods particularly were just spot on and very pretty, very shiny and stuff like that. And these particle effects, particularly for that time, that kind of fog, will probably take fucking months to render. So
it's actually kind of funny when you think of it too, Ash. Those cutscenes were kind of like a reward for getting through the tougher levels. It's like pretty.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. I was used to play the games just to see cutscenes because they were so pretty. Like literally, I was like, I want to see more.
They were just.
Also, just when somebody does lighting like core design does, nobody.
Yeah, it's actually my co-admin would always say that the lighting that core design did through the whole games on like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including the console anniversary edition, the lighting is basically something that core design really shines through.
The other thing too, the animations.
Yeah, animations as well, because there's no mock-up, and like say people were saying whether the Angel of Darkness had mock-up animations because they're very like smooth, but no, they're all handmade by Mark Donald, I believe.
But looking at the ones in this game, some of the actual movement is fantastic. Some of the in-game Yeah, I mean that's not the best, most amazing. I was just looking at there's a mummy that AJ was fighting a minute ago. It's really threatening, really nice animation work, and it's kind of these guys were real artists, animation wise. It's a lost art, really, isn't it? I suppose.
There is a question from someone about John Eves, but I'll come back to that later. Someone will get to that level, and I will ask exactly about that because I have it on my list. I'm currently playing Tomb Raider Chronicles to write a retrospective from Dries Scrap Year 2 book. This is from Fiona. Fiona is well-known writer for various newspapers, and she's like amazing. I just needed to read that, so I will send you a link about that article if you guys interested.
Cool. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, Lion, just to remind you, please send me all the level editor stuff, and I'll pass them on to Tom and Andy and Peter if they would like to play.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
Anyone I missed here? I don't think I did. Oh, Jeep Thrills. I need to increase the volume of that. But this is like people's favorite.
It wasn't even the Jeep.
It wasn't even the Jeep, no.
So whose was this? Jamie's?
Yes. Yes, Jamie's.
I was very concerned because it's like I'm driving as careful as I can, and she's still losing health and complaints. What can I do? What am I doing wrong? This is why I never got my driver license. This game scarred me.
There you go, a bit of inappropriate murder.
Yeah, everyone is loving this.
Points in this section. Yeah, 20 points for the,
Ow!
No.
There was actually a question about why the voiceover was changed from Judy Gibbons and Janelle. Peter, I believe you were the one who appointed Janelle?
No, I think she was always kind of in the running for that. The short version of the story is we're needing a voice that could imitate like a young Lara and a normal Lara, and it was basically Janelle that was in the running for that. That's pretty much the short version of the story, yeah.
Funny thing is, Janelle and Shelley did the original voice of Lara in Tomb Raider 1. They're actually best friends.
Yeah.
And
nice. Okay.
yeah, and when my first game was actually Tomb Raider 5, Chronicles. So I played that, and then I played Tomb Raider 1, and I was like, oh, it's the same voice. It's just she's just younger here. But I told Shelley, I thought it was like you in Tomb Raider 4 and 5 as well, because I didn't have the internet at the time. I thought it was the same voice. I knew in the second and third they used someone else because the voice was much deeper and lower. But for that kind of stuff, she was like, no, she doesn't sound like Anisha. And I was really pissed off with that. No, we're best friends, but no.
I mean, I remember they said that there was an audition for 2, but there's various reasons why. The lady from I think you told me this story, Tom. I mean, I don't think we're supposed to tell it, but we weren't. The story I heard is that the actress for the Tomb Raider 1 voiceover demanded more money when Tomb Raider 1 became really popular, so she demanded more money for Tomb Raider 2. But then more recently, I've heard that the reason that she didn't get the job is because one of our then producers was really rude to her in the phone interview. I think did you tell me that, Ash?
Yes, I did. Yes, that's actually. I'm not gonna go into much details, but yeah, that was the actual reason.
Right, I see.
That the guy pissed her off, and quite fairly she refused. I would refuse if someone would call me and say that kind of stuff on the phone.
Yeah. Well, he was a dick anyway, but
I didn't know that
history.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't. I don't think somebody said that we. Well, in fact, Judith said that she was auditioned, and I thought, really? Yeah. I think we just hired Judith because she was Gibby's sister and quite close by. Because Judith had no acting experience. Judith was really nice, but she wasn't an actress,
Yeah, she was just. Yeah, she was. Wasn't she like sister of?
She was sister of Gibby, yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that and Susie, who was the PR lady, had to go down to the E3, which is the big or the ECTS, and they were sitting in a little room while they had a massive Lara model being displayed on the screen. Has Pete gone for a poo? They had a massive Lara model, and then they were both stuck in this little room just smoking fags continuously, and people would ask questions, and then Susie would sort of try and write an answer, and then Judith would have to, yes, so I like to do so and so at the weekends, and I like trance music, and it was just, complete.
Oh, I need to find a video of that doesn't exist.
I've got a photograph of both of them sitting in the booth lot.
Oh my god, please send any photos you have from that era.
Well, that was from Jamie. Jamie dug out a load of old Tomb Raider photos. We've got a few lying around of us in the various rooms, but we used to dodge the media, really. I mean, we used to just get on with making the game. You know, we had Nell McAndrew in one day, and in the full Tomb Raider outfit. You know, I remember people go, bloody hell, did you know, it must have been amazing, and we just looked around and went, hello, and then back to the computers again, and you know, I hadn't even noticed. You know, it's like, yeah, we weren't the most welcoming group of
there is a question from Moon. Yeah, were the FMVs hand animated, or there was some mock-up back in the days? Just repeating myself here. No, all the FMVs, all the animations in Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, which is Angel of Darkness, are hand animated. No mock-up.
No motion capture throughout.
No motion. No, yeah, they're all hand animated.
Frames.
It's good background, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
yep.
So pretty.
This looks horrible. This looks
I was actually coming back to you saying that you never met press. You actually guys never met fans as well. The first time you guys met them was Play Expo in 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, we never had any access. We were never given access to this. It was kind of, that was a completely different. We just kept secluded, and we didn't mind because we just wanted to get on with the game, really. But yeah, I mean, but we never knew how many people out there actually really loved the game. So I don't think
loud.
Really...
Sorry, very loud. I need to lower the volume. There you go.
Can you hear that? I can't hear that.
No, I can't hear it.
Oh, you can't?
No. This is my favourite cutscene.
There's no need for that.
No.
It's probably because I'm not sharing audio. That's why I can't hear it. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's very loud for people, so I need to lower it a bit.
Can I say, sorry, I just remembered
Yes, sorry Tom, go on.
I was going to say, I remember now what the question I saw earlier on. Someone was saying about the train level, or will we be doing that later?
We will be doing it, yeah.
Okay, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it when we get there then.
Yeah, we will do train, we will do Alexandria very quickly. Yeah, sorry?
Once this cutscene's done, could you like switch the game screen off so I could switch the saves out and we could go right to the desert level? Or the railroad level?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I will go to the chat and just tell me when. After the cutscene ends. Okay.
Oh, power suit on.
Right.
Is this Somerset?
Yeah, AJ, just don't turn off your screen share, but I will switch the thing, okay?
Yep, I have no idea if it's going to turn off once I have to exit the game to put the save files in, but if it does, I'll just restart.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Right. Yeah, so that's just technical stuff here.
Oh, there we go, it's Jean.
Jean-Yves.
There
you go.
I fear this is not a social visit.
Yeah, we will get... Actually, I might as well discuss Jean-Yves now. So, what's the story about Jean-Yves? I know he's a real actual person. Was he even aware he will be in the...
No, so as I was saying to you, we got a book that was by Jean-Yves Guillemot or something, a famous French archaeologist, and Pete used, well, we were using some of his research for, not his research, but some of his investigations we used to kind of formulate ideas, and obviously the character kind of ended up getting built perhaps looking a little bit like him. Anyway,
he wears exact same stuff as he does on one of the photos. So it's not just a little bit; it's literal copy.
Well, I mean, I noticed in the giant white Tomb Raider pamphlet that he said that he was there's an apology in Le Monde, but there was also a payoff of some amount, But yeah, so I was trying to think of the story I was just telling there. But oh yeah, sorry. The reason that there was a lawsuit is the reason that the lawsuit actually happened is that Pete had accidentally made, and he genuinely had no idea of what John Eves' actual real office looked like. And some of the lawsuit was based around the fact that John Eves' actual real office was exactly the one as the same in the game as the one in the game. And Pete, who built it, had no idea what his office looked like, and he was absolutely flabbergasted when we saw that they were pretty much exactly the same. It was before the internet, you know. We had no idea what, and that was part of their case that we'd nicked him. And anyway, so then they changed for Tomb Raider 5. They removed his hair and changed his skin colour, so he became a bald black man, and that avoided the any issues with any further copyright.
I don't think he would become black. I think he would they just changed the I
thought he was Batman, wasn't he, in Tomb Raider 5?
Was he?
I think so.
No, they just shaved his head off or hair off and gave him a beard.
It was it was just
the
the
submarine
cheapest,
levels, wasn't it?
Just the cheapest, most offensive and crap, way of getting out of having to re-render all the cutscenes. They just basically took
I'm just
his hair
switching
off.
the windows now. Sorry about that.
I
Just
wonder
quickly.
if they put his hair on the bottom of his face instead and pretended it was a beard.
Just moved it around.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's what happened with me a few 20 years ago.
It's yeah. I actually didn't know the exact same one. Now I can't unsee that. This Janice and the guy. But wasn't the cutscenes in Tomb Raider 5 made by a different company as well? So.
Yeah, that was interesting actually. Yeah, I can't remember why that happened. I think Jay's just.
Charles, that's the name. Yes, correct. Charles. The chat is saying that's the name that they give to Jean Yves. Charles.
Yeah. But I seem to remember because I had a video somewhere that on a video cassette of he was still John Eves, the lad John Eves' voice, but it was effectively a bald black gentleman, and it was like I thought, well, you could have made a bit more effort to kind of conceal.
Maybe
John
it's
Eves'
previously unseen stuff you're talking about here.
Well, I know I had that video cassette, and I wanted to keep that because that was kind of quite a useful. It was quite an interesting historical document. But I lent it to I just lent it to somebody, and I've since lost contact with him. So somebody out there's got the video of Charles Kane as with John Eves' voice.
Quite annoying that. Would you be willing to share the Tomb Raider 4 level design documents and other such development documents if you have them? That's from Jugim 16.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we try and share everything with Ash that we can. I'm just moving house at the minute, so I said to Ash that I'll probably be able to dig out a few documents. Heather recently found a load of Tomb Raider 1 documents up in her attic. I've got a presentation she did, which I can share.
We did share on our things as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a really bad video. I think I can give you the actual presentation, but Heather, yeah, she
please,
out,
yeah.
She dug out do some of the original sketches from Tomb Raider 1 and 2.
Yeah, please. We need to see that. Yeah, we will publish it on our social media and the website as well.
Okay.
Right,
where's the other two gone?
They should be in here.
BT!
Hello, sorry, I'm just having some technical difficulties. There was sort stuff out.
Yeah, it's just switching between the active speaker. That's why. Yeah, there you go. There he is.
There we are.
You've been missing us, Andy.
I have, mate. Yes. Where's Thomas? You having some more burritos?
Would the links appear in the chat? No, I'm not gonna put any links now because I will need to switch windows. But if you look on our Twitter, we did tweet a week ago about the presentation. But we will, when Andy will send the presentation, actually, we'll publish it and link it again. So
I think I'll probably get a big lump of stuff together for Ash so I can send. I've got a physical copy of the Tomb 5 script with a load of hilarious jokes that I put in for the team. That Phil particularly used to love me putting stupid jokes in everywhere. So I'll dig that out.
Yeah, and I will publish it as soon as we receive it. Since I'm at home anyway and I'm doing fuck all. Well, I do work remotely, but
you should be making your digital lectures, Ash, like 2 million hours worth of digital lectures. That's what I have to do.
AJ, before you go playing, 1 second, I need to make you live. So we are on the Desert Railroad level, which is Tom wanted to discuss. So I'm just switching to it now.
I'm just going to turn that light off and go.
There we go.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, I seem to remember.
I will excuse myself for a second, but you guys please carry on talking if that's okay.
Are you going for a Waz?
Pretty much, yes. Going to ladies' room. Okay, 1 second.
So yeah, I think the question was something like, did we build this specially? And yeah, it took a lot of so basically, as far as I remember, the train is a static Tomb Raider level, the train itself, and then we basically just shifted in classic old school style, we shifted the scenery past you over and over again. We just looped that background scene and the objects and moved them past the train, and put a bit of camera shake on, and to make it feel like you were moving. The biggest thing I remember from the AI was basically these walls are paper thin. I can't remember what we used to call it, like wafer thin walls. So basically, it used to be the AI did not cope well with the walls being kind of just a like a panel wall effectively. So I think I had to do quite a lot of coding to fix up the AI to work.
I feel like a woman reborn. Okay.
That's what Thomas is about to say.
All right.
Yeah. So I think it was like, originally the AI just couldn't cope at all. They'd either try and walk through the walls, or you could see them sort of like poking through the walls and stuff like that. So it was a nightmare getting this to work for a while. But
yeah, so I noticed Uncharted did the second Uncharted game did a very similar level. It was the train level where you're working your way down the train, but they had it was basically a loop. So you were on a train line that was effectively a loop, and then it would keep you could stay on the train for as long as you wanted, but it would just basically keep looping the same scenery around. But there was enough of it so you didn't really notice. But were we spawning stuff in this, or?
Yeah, I think we were spawning the rock, the rock formations, and basically moving them through the scene. I'm pretty sure.
It's really good. We were quite clever, weren't we, back then?
Back then,
I think the actual enemy deaths is me and tickets. It's cons of me, unfortunately.
What do you mean in terms of voice?
Yeah, that kind of like ticket.
Can you give us a full rendition, Pete?
Yes, please.
I might do one day.
Do it now.
Now that you put us on the spot, I can't do it.
Well, you did. Can you do the mummy? You did the mummy once for me in Vagamamas. You did it on video as well. So
is that it?
No, that's it. Once I'm on the spot, I just can't do it. But I do recall them baddies using my voice. It might just be only the death, but I do remember using my voice.
Go on.
So there you go. Dejorified. Oh, man, get out.
I'm not too keen on the sort of yellow fade out effect. Is that what it's supposed to look like, or is it supposed to be black? Where the
yeah.
I remember we had some issues with that. I can't remember why we did that.
Yeah, I can't remember either why we phased it. Well, I suppose just because it was daytime, it would have looked weird if the scenery had faded out. But it looks worse than I remember it. That clipping.
Well, everything's going to black, isn't it? So we must have wanted that to be black.
It could be the compatibility issues with the modern
Windows
10. That could well be that. I remember mine was not clipping that much, so it could be just a...
No, it's because I have it windowed mode and it's running at 1280 by 720. If you go full screen 1080p, it's not like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just technical limitations.
It's Windows 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, we've run out of things to talk about.
It says that the mummy was Georgified.
Yeah, Georgified. Yeah.
So I think this was Rich Morton, this level, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But again, I remember working a bit with it. I think we all, when things were a bit difficult, we all kind of chipped in and got it fixed. I remember doing some things on this.
That's the beauty of smaller teams, when everyone kind of, like I said earlier, everyone just sort of works together and helps each other out. Whereas, one of the last companies I worked at, it was like 150, 200 different people, and it was really difficult for there to be a team camaraderie. Whereas back in the day, there was one,
Yeah, it's funny because I sort of left the industry for about 4 years. When I came back, it changed quite dramatically to kind of it was, as we know now, the game industry has become a bit of a kind of it's quite obviously a bit of an unpleasant place to work in a lot of situations. I always thought it was just that's what it was always going to be like, working on Tomb Raider with my mates, and then after 20 years of another 10 years after Tomb Raider, I realised it was just very lucky that we all.
I think it was really, because I mean with music now and sound effects, you've got a very specific design that you've got to follow. You've got to meet your deadlines, your sprints, etc., etc. Whereas back in the day, it was just like nobody ever said anything unless it was like bad. It was pretty much just like yeah, let's go with it. You were pretty liberal, left your own devices and left your own kind of. It was very creative in the sense that you didn't have to work with the boundaries. You could pretty much do what you felt at the time and it worked. I
think you also you pushed. And I think that that none of us were doing enormously bad work apart from Ludsgate, thanks. None of us were doing. We were all pretty good at our jobs. And the other thing I remember is that we knew that there was going to be like 2 to 6 million people playing it, and so we kind of hammered it. We knew we had to do our best work.
We weren't forced to work late either. We kind of more or less just done it and got on with it, didn't we? It wasn't something that we were like was just thrust upon us. Even though we felt we're obliged to do it, we still had the option not to.
Yeah.
I mean, the other interesting thing is that nowadays, a game will always have a design director or someone who's got an overview of the whole thing. Whereas, really, I suppose Toby was probably that in the first game, but after that, it was like a collective thing, really, wasn't it? There was no one person who said this is the way it's got to be.
Yeah. No, Toby was not.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Jez never came down and says it doesn't sound right. It hasn't got to be like this. It needs to be like that. I just love the openness of working on this project. Like I say, I've been working in the industry now just 26 years now, and that's in core design was the one real place I could be the creator I wanted to be. It was.
Yeah, and then we all respected each other, and we all respected each other's work, and we all tried to challenge each other. And it's what's happened to the game, Ash? Has it died?
Sorry about that. No, it's carrying on. I just needed to switch on. I think I had some problem with Facebook chat.
I didn't know whether
if anyone is watching this on Facebook and you said something and we missed you, you should be able to say stuff now. Sorry about that. We just lost connection to it before. But if you haven't said anything, what the hell are you waiting for? Ask your questions. There was a good message from April. I am forever grateful to you guys for giving me a good childhood with these games. Honestly, they were my salvation, which I can relate to. So...
Did any of you, Andy, Tom, did any of you think that back then, that in 20 years' time or 25 years' time, we were sitting here talking about something we did a long time ago and how it affected people? I think that's, I'm still very humbled at learning, what it's done for people and how it's been their salvation. People have done music or people doing art because of what you did. It's quite
humbling. Yeah, I mean it's fantastic, and thank you all for for kind of loving it, because we loved it when we were doing it. Apart from Tomb Raider 5 and Ludsgate.
Tomb Raider 5 is great. Stop hating on it.
We did a good job on Tomb 5, but and we did actually enjoy some of Tomb 5. I think it was kind of the slog at the end that we remember most of all. Were you in the room with us, Tom, at the end? Yeah. Oh God.
Just got left on devices. said that 3 times today.
No, we would bring you. We'd always bring you down a picture at lunchtime, Pete.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
You painted the picture, and I was happy as long as the picture looked good.
There is a question from Reason Choice. And Tom, was there any ethos you followed for designing complex levels, such as do's and don'ts?
Such as what was the last bit, Ash?
Do's and don'ts.
Well, we often sat down. We cut our teeth on the city level with Sophia. That was when we first kind of
London,
when we made friends simply through the fact that we had to spend long hours sitting together in a room from we used to just go, right, so we start now, and then it'd be 2 p.m. through till 2 a.m. So we had to make design choices kind of on the fly. But I mean, that's the other thing we'd do is we'd all sit together and play through things and check. But we didn't really we have a theme, I think, and then we'd all, whoever you were working with on that level, you would tend to get feedback from them. Don't know, Tom, what do you think?
Well, I was just going to say, I think one of the big things was that we would, if there was something outside of the existing level editor or something you wanted to do, we'd sit down. You'd sit down with the programmer and say, I want to do this thing, I want to add this feature, and we'd sit down and make it happen. And I think the other thing was, one of the things when I was doing the AI that I was very conscious of, I think that the AI and the level design really needed to go together. So just giving an enemy a certain capability was no good unless they were, placed in an interesting way in the map. So something like, there's no point having an enemy that uses cover or will kind of potentially hide if they just they suddenly appear 10 feet in front of Lara and she blows their head off. So I think all of those things like the AI and the level design work hand in hand. And I think one of the things that me and Andy did hopefully was we sit down together and try and get those things to work, the actual level design and the AI to work together like that.
Yeah, you can see how you made this level in itself in a very small environment. I can actually see how the AI is reacting in certain ways, and with the animations as well. It is actually really interesting to watch. It's quite a long level considering you're just running up and down a train.
Yeah.
AJ just went to collect the secret at the very back of it. That's why it seems longer than usual. We're going into Alexandria, but I don't think we need to. We already spoke about Jean-Yves. So AJ, you can load the saves for the next piece of level that we discussed. Piece of game, I mean.
Lost.
Does that play? What bit of music does that play there again? It plays. Probably, yeah.
No, it plays the Egyptian Sands from the Dark Angel Symphony, we call it that way, but I don't know the actual title for it. By the way, guys, if any of you... Egyptian Mood, that's how it's called, yeah. But it's called Egyptian Sands on the new album. If any of you would like to get the remastered version of Tomb Raider 4 soundtrack, Tomb Raider 5 soundtrack, and the Angel of Darkness, plus brand new reimagined tracks, go to trdarkangel.com and buy yourself the Dark Angel Symphony, 4 epic albums in one. So
on
what
vinyl
level
as
is
well?
this? Sorry?
On vinyl as well?
On vinyl, on CD, as a digital download on MP3 lossless, posters, statues, everything is there. Please go.
And it's on Spotify and stuff as well.
And, and play it on Spotify if you would like to.
Can I have one?
Well, we can send you one, sure. When you will send me stuff, when I return it to you, I will include the CD. There you go. Oh, it's a 4 CD.
I wouldn't want a bit of vinyl. I can hang it on the wall.
Oh yeah, I can send you vinyl. That's not a problem. I have it here actually, over there. It's very pretty. Like this was actually.
I can see Pete's face.
This is actually.
He's not giving another free one.
It's all right. We've got plenty of free ones.
This is actually our passion project. Lots of fans were involved. Like the cover was drawn by a fan as well, Ina. So.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures. It looks beautiful.
Yeah. So trdarkangel.com, everyone. Get yourself, spoil yourself, treat yourself. Right.
There you go. Advert over.
Advert over. AJ, which level is this? So I remember.
Lost Library.
Lost Library. Okay. Cool.
Okay, so is this Alexandria or?
AJ?
What were them flying?
You skip about it, yeah.
They were
wisps.
wisps.
Wisps. That's it. Yeah.
Wisps.
Yes. Willows.
What? Someone is actually asking why was the Times even made, the Times exclusive level? I know you guys had no. You said you had no like input in it. It was American team, but do you even know why they even?
No, we did the Times one.
Oh, you did it. Okay.
Yeah, we had to. I remember distinctly because there was something important going on, and it was a weekend job, and we had to. I think it was 2 weekends. We had to come in and just sit there all weekend. Wow. It was something to do with the library, I think. Strangely, or maybe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah. As far as I remember.
Didn't it like have the edit of the Times in there or something?
Oh yeah.
Subscription? Give it like it was included as CD for subscribers, wasn't it? I think.
Oh yeah. So, but I remember that I reused a load of London textures.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember there was some sort of wanky it was some high up person who was using it as a tool to advertise themselves.
Yeah, basically, yeah, it was just a narcissistic. Without sounding rude, it was just a narcissistic attempt at kind of, looking good.
Yeah. I'm talking of narcissism. An unrelated story. Ian Livingstone. I met him outside Develop about 5 years ago, before the COVID. And I've never actually met Ian Livingstone. He used to walk around the building, and I never said hello because either we were too busy or I didn't want to. But anyway, I saw him outside Develop, and so I went over and I said, hello, Ian. I said, I've never actually met you. I was one of the original Tomb Raider guys, and his face, he looked like he thought I was about to smash his face in, and he was like, what the hell? And I don't know whether he's had some bad reactions from Tomb Raider people, and I was just like, no, hello, mate, I just want to say hello. But yeah, he looked kind of freaked out, as if.
Interesting. Yeah. He was supposed to be at Play Expo 2016. He had to cancel because he had surgery done the day before.
If that's the case, if he has got some sort of thing going on there, that might explain a lot over the years, especially with the not attending the Play Expo.
No, he actually had surgery for Play Expo. That's why he didn't come. So it's not related to that. He didn't want to see any of you. Right. Yeah, I would like to address some reasoned choice. Thank you for your kind words. Right. Question. What's the original idea for the final boss with Seth? Currently, he only walks and shoots, and Lara avoids him, but hidden animations show that there was something more planned. That's probably for you, Andy, because you did Cairo.
I completely missed that. Sorry, I was just looking at the.
What was the original idea for the final fight with Seth? Because he currently just walks and shoots things, but he actually has some missing animation included there.
Was that on Cairo? I thought that was.
It wasn't Cairo. It's a final thing.
The entire concept behind that was something that I have entirely forgotten.
Which one's Seth? What's he look like?
He had a jackal face.
Yeah.
So I would have done that with. So that would have been Phil doing the animations. I did the AI. But whose level was it? I can't remember.
It's Joby. I can. For some reason.
Seth was in Giza. So yeah, not Cairo. Sorry, Giza.
Yeah, it's Joby. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for correcting me. I'm not an expert by any means.
So So just to say, so Phil Chapman, who did all of the enemy animations, was an absolute. He was by far and away the fastest artist and animator I think I've ever met in terms of doing character stuff. He was astonishingly fast. So he could put animations together like nobody. So he probably just stuck some in there. And maybe we didn't have time to do the AI to use them, or maybe, it might have just been that the boss fight felt like it was adequate, or it worked as it was. I don't know. Is the honest answer. I can't actually remember.
This looks like quite a bad, nasty little battle going on with AJ.
Yeah. Do we know the idea behind the robots? Someone is asking that. Those machines and robots.
Okay, so again, it's terrible. I must admit, I don't know if it's just because I'm senile or because it's kind of like PTSD where I'm just trying to blank it out. But I'm looking up this, and I know that I programmed these, but I have no memory of why. But in general, I had this. Basically, I was playing a lot of Zelda at the time, and one of the things although I loved Tomb Raider 1 and 2, one of the things that got on my nerves was basically just all of the enemies you would shoot. I mean, it didn't matter what the enemy was, you basically would just stand there, or you jump from side to side, and you just shoot it until it was dead. And so one of the things I really wanted to do was to give enemies that had a different feel, or you couldn't directly kill them, or you had to do something more like in Zelda, where every enemy has its different strategy of how you defeat it. So I think these guys, I can't even remember what you had to do, but the whole idea about an enemy that you had to run away from, or an enemy that you had to do something different, rather than just pumping it full of bullets. Because, I mean, one of the other things I tried to do was I really petitioned to try and get auto aim removed, and everyone said no. It's like everyone's used to that it has to stay, and I can sort of see why they said that. But in some ways, having auto aim did mean that basically you just got the guns out and you didn't even have to look at the screen half the time, because the guns would always be pointing at the enemy.
There is a way to turn it off though. In the options, you can.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can turn it off. But I argued that the default should be off, and just Adrian and Jeremy wouldn't go for that, because they said everyone would hate it, and they're probably right. But
I can't play it without manual aim. It's just impossible.
I was thinking about some of the interesting AI design. Well, it wasn't AI design, but one of the interesting enemies for the first one that always struck me as a piece of genius was the Lara, the mirrored Lara, where you had to. There was a puzzle where you in Tomb Raider 1.
Yeah.
It was in here. You mean Doppelganger? Sorry. Yes. Yeah.
So I know why that happened, because me and Toby used to read a lot of Ian Banks.
Yeah.
And he's written, I think it was in The Bridge, but we used to go on about this. There was a sequence where it was basically a mirrored coach journey, where a guy in the 17th century was approaching a version of himself sitting at the top of a coach, and they're both pointing guns at each other, and then they couldn't shoot because obviously it was a mirrored image of each other, and we were fascinated with the sequence, and it obviously popped up in the game. Yeah. But so read more books, young people, because you'll get great ideas.
I'd forgotten about Bacon Lara.
Bacon Lara, yes.
Yeah, because it was meant to be kind of muscles and bone, wasn't it? But
Bacon Lara.
Because of the resolution on the PlayStation, it did look like bacon.
Funny.
Peckish now, talking about
that. Right, I'm just... there is a question about All Hallows. Now, we tried to focus on Tomb Raider 4 with this stream, but I will ask anyway, because Andy, you did All Hallows. Tomb Raider, sorry if this asked before, but why was All Hallows cut down so much? Did PS1 limits determine the fact? Is there any chance a most intact version of this level still available somewhere? Now, I know the answer to this, but I want you to say it.
So have you got a full version of it?
No, I haven't. You should have it.
No, I've got nothing. I've got a disc from Tomb with actual levels. I've got a disc from Tomb 1. So All Hallows was an extra level. I remember that was torturous, and I remember making it so hard that it almost made my eyes bleed. But beyond that, I remember I wanted to do a kind of haunted level again, and me and Ash talked about this, that it wasn't. I don't remember it being based around any specific church, but you said there is no one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is
There's
one
outside the tower.
Yeah.
And there is actually... there are a few All Hallows churches in London, but I reckon that's the one, because... Well, I reckon, because it's actually quite similar to what you designed, but I know you just, by accident...
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know if I'd seen a picture in a book of the All Hallows at the tower. I might have then tried to replicate that. But I do remember it had lots of backflips, and I remember just sitting there for hours playing it myself, like in the flow state where it's difficulty versus skill. And I was just in a state of flow for about an hour, just trying to do my own level. At which stage you need to ask yourself, if it's that difficult, then you shouldn't be putting it in a commercial game, Yeah. So, but All Hallows. Sorry, I didn't know there was a bigger version. Because
no, they're asking whether you have a more intact version of it now.
It's because it was an extra level, so really that was kind of, again, we tried to put everything in the universe into Tomb Raider 3 to prove that we were cool, and so we hammered it to the point where we were effectively kind of straw men by the end of it. We just worked ourselves to the bone to try and prove that we could do a better Tomb Raider game, which I don't think we did, but it was certainly a nice Tomb Raider game. So
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
See you going for a poo.
Everyone goes for a poo.
Good for Tom.
Hey, Ash, since we're at the 2-hour mark, should I skip ahead to the
Cairo?
Yes. City of the Dead, yes.
I think I could probably do another half hour, guys, before my old man's eyes give up.
Yeah, okay. City of the Dead. Okay, so this is Cairo. This should be yours, and you're responsible for this.
Well, it's going to be magnificent then.
Also, I love the skyline of this level.
Sorry, AJ?
The skyline you used for this one, the horizon, so freaking epic looking.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and it gets like redder and redder more towards you get to the Giza. It's just incredible. Yeah, I love it.
I used to make all my levels really dark, as we can see an example of here.
Yeah, so she's about to drive a bike thingy. I was always like, yeah.
Go on, Ash.
I always wanted to like, can you just undo this thing on the side? It's annoying. I wanted just like, you know, so it's yeah.
Oh yeah, you mean the
whatever that's called, yeah.
Yeah, that came out of. I'm pretty sure that came out of Indiana Jones and the Last Revelation again. He was driving his dad around.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I can't see it. The sidecar, yes, bro.
I don't remember being. I wasn't really inspired by when I was making this level. I wanted to go to I wanted to actually put the City of the Dead as the graveyard in that's next to the pyramids. And we were planning to visit that. You know, there is actually a massive graveyard called the City of the Dead, where they've built graves that are effectively kind of house-sized, but we never got to visit. So I basically and also it's really difficult designing vehicle levels because you've got massive expanses to cover. I do remember this.
Seems like we lost Peter.
I'm here.
All right. I don't know why we lost the video with you.
I'll switch you back on in a second. I was just doing some stuff.
So that's fog effect.
There we go. Just having a cheeky one.
What kind of stuff? I don't want to know what kind of stuff you were doing. I don't want to know. Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Andy. You were saying about fog effects.
No, I just remembered there was some reason the fog effect was there for a reason. I can't remember why. It might have been to hide bad textures.
To be fair, I think it added to the atmosphere a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I kind of grew up in a haunted house, so I most of my levels were
like the island in Tomb Raider 5 as well. They were very creepy.
Yeah, that was inspired by Hellboy and my growing up in Scotland in a very strange part of Scotland. Well, most of my level design on Tomb Raider appears to be kind of based around just trying to hide the traversal route, so you know, you don't know where to go. Which is not good design.
Mission accomplished, by the way.
Thank you. It's sort of you have to keep your eyes.
Blind. I have not played this level in years.
I thought this would have been one of your favourites, AJ, that you returned to.
It is one of my favorites, but Tomb Raider 4 is one of those games that it's so difficult that you only spend so much time with it at a certain point.
Right. I do remember thinking I was being quite. Actually, I think this is the level, isn't it, where it's got the Reservoir Dogs garage in it?
I don't
think so.
The world's smallest violin playing just for the waitresses of the world.
And
Steve Buscemi, that.
I don't know if we're gonna reach that cutscene today, but I know there's a moment where she's trapping Von Croy and dogs, and she goes barking mad. Which is a phrase you're very proud of, Andy.
Is it?
Yeah, you hated it. That's why.
I saw there was a quote in the giant Tomb Raider white pamphlet. One of something to do with the even by your standards, Von Croy, the Apocalypse is quite unpleasant. Or I thought,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he used to be quite a good writer as well.
Barking mad.
Yeah, barking mad. Barking mad.
It was so pretty. Like I was like, oh my god, this is so cute. And Peter told me about it and said that you were like very ashamed of it. It was so
Yes, it was. I think even though you were slightly ashamed of it, I think it was a proud as hell.
Yeah. Well, we used to try and. I mean, I used to try and write Lara as kind of cynical. It was kind of the 60s James Bond, you know, where it was the quips, but still we wanted to make her a strong female character. We never wanted to make her into a sex symbol. We wanted to kind of keep her as a strong feminine character, you know. We probably didn't succeed all the time, but certainly as a team, you know, we did want to make sure she was a kind of female, keep her status as a female icon.
Am I back? By the way, can you see me?
You are back, but
no, I can't
for some
see you
reason
at all.
your video is not.
Are you a ghost, Tom?
I am.
Yeah, you're a ghost. Can you turn off your video and turn it back on, please? And
I will.
That should fix it. AJ, I think we might not have enough time, so can you skip to the Minotaur level? Chambers of Tulum?
Unbelievable, don't want to see Cardo anymore.
Aha!
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, let's do that one. So in this one, Lara is being chased by Minotaur that again you can't really kill without doing some special stuff. So I think this will be quite interesting too.
Whose is this? Is this mine?
Should be yours. This is
Yep,
Cairo.
this is right after that first level.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I did all the Cardo levels. Jez used to tell me my levels were very brown. I think he might have had a point there.
Let's see.
Like,
why are all your levels so fucking brown?
Fucking hell.
And everybody used to love, well, certainly I noticed this with level designs from students, is that everybody when they're level designing loves making things go deeper. So if you've got pits or cliffs or, you know, whenever level designers seem to have a sort of penchant for trying to make pits and holes and caves and I thought it was just me, but lots of my students do it as well.
There you go.
So there's a novice level design tip is that when you start building level designs, one of the first things the students always do is build a 2,000 mile deep pit that you fall down. Hey!
All right.
I remember this.
Any comments on that AI, Tom?
Right, so I'm just trying to remember. So I remember the Minotaur had some interesting things. I'm trying to remember what they were. So there's like the whole area attack thing, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's that sort of shockwave
you and he creeped me out when I first played this. I was just
there's a lot of creepy, yeah. There's a lot of creepy enemies, you know. It's a
very scary game, yeah, for a child.
It's got a creepy feel.
I was 10.
I think you need more of this, you know, just a good hint of sort of supernatural to keep, you know, it's always nice having a bit of fear to making you uncomfortable.
I can't even remember now how you kill him. How do you kill him? Is it with a specific weapon? Is it like grenade launcher or something, or do you have to do lure him somewhere?
I think you kill him with a bike. AJ, do you remember?
No, you seal him in this room. You don't actually kill him, and I don't think you do.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I saw a save file where he actually dies.
It's kind of like the Natla fight in a way. Like you basically use Versal to get up there, and then you lock him in here.
Oh, okay, you can't kill him. Okay.
Because this level design reminds me of a level in Dark Souls, actually.
They probably stole it from you.
Interestingly,
they say that Dark Souls is so difficult, so Tomb Raider was the original Dark Souls.
Hey, thanks, AJ.
Tomb Raider, the Dark Souls revelation.
Dark Souls, Lord's Gate.
This thing of why I thought you can actually kill him, because I was taking some video grabs, and I downloaded save files from Stella's website, and in one of the save files it starts off with him dying. So that's why I thought you can actually kill him, but I did not remember how. So that's why you can't kill him.
I've just seen that. Sorry.
I just remember when we recorded the video for the compilation that Lara was making for the Dark Angel Symphony. When I did it for that, I just remember dropping them in here.
Yeah,
Okay.
you just
I've
really.
just seen- Sorry.
This guy, seriously, I just fucking hate that money towards creep me out. There's a question from Hansel. What have you guys done after Tomb Raider and Core? Do you still work in the game industry? Let's start with Peter.
Freelance. I've been.
Your video is gone again.
Oh, sorry. That'll be me.
We want to
Put
see
your
your
trousers
pretty
back on,
face.
Pete.
I'm back on. I'm turned on. I've been, I mean, since leaving core design, I've been dealing with the games industry, pretty much full time since then. Worked for various companies throughout. I mean, Ubisoft, the big donor, has played a big part in a lot of the projects I've worked on in the last 10, 15 years. But at the moment, I'm kind of just chilling out, really taking time out. I've been self-employed for 12 years now, and I'm just kind of just take it easy, just seeing what's going, and just doing my own thing, There's a lot of things I want to do that I want to get stuck into, but I've always been too busy with other things over the last however many years to be able to do it. So, watch your
Can I
space.
ask you a question, Pete?
Yeah.
Since we worked together last, have you killed anybody?
5 people.
Really?
Names? No.
No, don't say the names.
Don't reveal the names. Yeah.
Oh, that's good because you always wanted to do that, so you've achieved one of your goals.
Yeah.
Lion, can you please send me that zip file via email? If you go on timberflash.com, there is contact us form. Just send the link there, please. And I will forward it to whoever needs to. I will forward it to Andy and et al. Right, Andy, what are you doing then?
So I went and worked at. I came back to Core, worked there with Tom for a while and Pete for a bit on Shell Shock 2. And Rogue Warrior, 2 of the worst games ever made. It was taken over by Rebellion, which is one of my favourite
What
companies.
was his name? The Tom Rourke, wasn't it? Was the voice Tim Rourke? There was some famous actor doing the voice for that.
What, on Shell Shock?
Yeah, no, the Rogue Warrior.
Oh yeah, no. Interestingly, Shell Shock 2. I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I thought, I know that dude's voice, and I was sitting with my mate, and I says, that's bloody Griffin out of Shell Shock 2, and that was the dude that I auditioned for Shell Shock 2, and so I contacted him and said, is it you on doing the voice? And he says, yeah, it's my second job doing voices in games, first was Shell Shock 2, he says I would never have got the job. He's the lead character in Red Dead Redemption 2. It's Roger Clark, I think his name is.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's
the main character. What's his name? Morgan something. What's the main cowboy? It's basically him. He's Griffin out of who I auditioned for the. So, and he said no, thanks for getting me in the game industry because you wouldn't have got the part. I thought so. Shell Shock 2 at least has forwarded games in some small way other than being the shittest game ever made. With that, cut long story short, so I went over to Stainless Games. I was lead designer on Magic the Gathering, and then the Isle of Wight was so lovely that I moved to Holland to become a teacher I've now been teaching game design, and I'm head of game design at York St John, game design, not game art or game programming, and spent 11 years teaching game design. But we are all missing game development. I know Pete's still in game development, but Tom has already said we're going to do a Tomb Raider Kickstarter at the end of this year. Tom, over to you.
No, he hasn't.
Good luck with that. So Tom, what are you doing then?
So bizarrely, after Tomb Raider, I did various game companies. We set up our own company. Did some things. Never made any money. I worked for various games companies. I then went back to doing. So before I did Tomb Raider, I was a university lecturer, and I went back to doing that for a while. But now, bizarrely, I program tram simulators for training tram drivers.
Oh wow!
Nice.
I don't know what.
That's a big switch.
It's good. But it's the games industry. I don't know. I still like to be in the games industry in a way, but it's just a bit. Unless you're very lucky. I mean, I think this is what we're saying really. If we were really lucky with Tomb Raider, and I think unless you're very lucky, the games industry nowadays is a lot of times it's not a lot of fun.
No, there's too much of a script to follow now. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of you can't open your creativity. You've just got to do this. You've got to do that. And don't get us wrong. Some people will work with that, but I think most of the people that work with that now, if they'd been now a situation 20 years ago, they'd be more creative and more understanding towards the open.
I just want to clarify before we carry on that Kickstarter was a joke. You're not actually doing it because people will believe that.
No, it is a joke, unfortunately. But we are talking about working together.
Oh. Yeah, well, yeah, please do. You can create some, brand new character, which is a female and has two guns.
Lara Croft.
Lara Loft.
Yeah.
Laura Cruz.
Well, no, the thing that I'm interested in is that is the graphical style and the feel of these type of games. And I'm a huge fan of Resident Evil as well.
Yeah, that's my favorite game series as well.
You know what it is? Minecraft is the thing for kids now. If you could do a Lara
okay,
Croft
Boomer,
game,
it's actually Fortnite these days.
Yeah.
But no, the game industry. The game industry has become toxic. I mean, I see the students, some students, who try to get into it, and it's become ghastly. I mean, we saw that towards the end of our time. Stainless was fine, but I mean, Rebellion was absolutely awful. And it's kind of like I do what but I try to watch out for the students, but it's a real shame. I think because with the size of some companies, that there's excuses for toxic people to get in there, and it's a real shame because we had.
I don't want to work there now. I actually was trying to get into game industry jobs for quite a while to be a community manager.
Well, there's still some good people out there. There's still some good companies. I mean, Ubisoft's been through a lot of trouble, but I think Ubisoft's been to be a lot of as Pete I'm sure knows. I know a lot of people in Ubisoft who are working in good parts of that company. So I just think it's a shame that there's just little pockets of knobheads basically.
It's literally a case of too many cooks. It's a little, you just can't do what you want to do because you've just got to follow protocol procedure, blah blah blah. You lose the creativity.
Sorry, Pete. Has AJ managed to get out of that bloody room?
What's that? Sorry.
AJ, have you managed to? Did you kill the Minotaur?
I don't think he understands your non-English words, AJ.
For some reason, the game ended up glitching, so I had to go back and redo the entire thing.
Oh god.
All right, okay.
That would be Tom's AI.
No, it's not my fault.
90s.
Thomas is asking, do you think indie is the way forward then, Andy? I mean, he means indie development and stuff like that.
Well, indie small teams, I think if you've got teams that are like the size of the Tomb Raider team, and they're people you know and you've worked with at game jams, then yes, I don't think single indie developers is a good idea. You've got mental and you need to know how to do, or you start losing your mind, I should say, and you'll need to do everything really. So I certainly think you've got smaller teams, 5 people, 10 people. I think and you can still keep control of your ideas. We did these games with 12 people as Tom and Pete have said, but obviously we'd already got a structure to build on, so we were just kind of churning out using the existing structure. But you need to find a USP, something unique, and put some of your own personality into your games. And this is what we tried to do with Tomb Raider, even though we were using a template. I bored myself now. I'm going to shut up.
You never bored me, Andy.
Oh, that's so cute.
Thanks, Pete.
Right, AJ, do you want to skip this level so
What?
we go to something else? Yes, so we can display more stuff. No, I think you need to download
the
them.
end.
I might allowed to leave in about 10 minutes, guys. I don't want to.
That's
but
why
I
I want to skip levels so we can. It would be good for you to stay a bit longer than 10 minutes, though, Andy, please.
I can't believe there's a free running fan. That was my idea. Woot!
Hey!
That's not the level we want.
I'm just gonna go and have a quick. I'm gonna have a wink call, and I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, please.
I need to switch, Ash. I got the wrong save.
Yes, sure. I'm switching to the chat window right now. So just call me back when you're ready. Chat window. Okay, cool. Yeah, the stream is going very well. I'm glad so many people actually showed up to ask questions. I knew they will, but there's always a worry. And that's the thing, when 2016 happened, Play Expo, I remember I received an email. I think it was Rich Morton, or was it... No, it was Stuart Atkinson, I think. He was like, oh, how many people I expected? Like 3 to attend Play Expo, as in the developer panel of core design. And when they actually seen that they actually got prime time, and, well, you guys, well, Peter was there, but he wasn't like on stage because he's scared of people. But like, they seen there's a prime time, they go on stage and there's like a huge amount of the crowd, literally, because that was the main stage, and they told me afterwards saying that they didn't expect that, you know, that still people actually remember, people actually still play the games, and that, you know, that it had so much impact on them. We actually showed the messages from fans that left to us, that, you know, the amount of impact the game had on them and stuff like that. So how do you guys feel about all that? No pressure.
How do we feel about what? Sorry.
About, you know, that your games are still being played, they're still cherished, that there's still this. Look at the chat. How active that is.
It's amazing. It's very humbling, and it's sort of grateful as well. It was an odd experience, and I think we were very lucky to be part of it as well, in terms of creating it. So
absolutely,
really
yeah.
People still
you never sit back then. You don't sort of like develop the game and say, we're going to be talking about this in years to come. It's just a natural phenomena. You know, it is what it is, and extremely humbling.
What we're talking about? Free running.
You need to turn on your
talk about your
webcam,
weekend,
Andy.
All right.
No, we were just talking about the Play Expo, how you guys didn't actually believe that it's going to be more than 3 people attending the panel, and then there was like a crowd of a couple of hundred and stuff like that. So
it's lovely. I mean, you know, I think obviously I just caught the end of that, but I think it's just fantastic that everybody's so supportive and so loving to the games, really. You know, we love them, and it's fantastic. And as I think Pete said, that, you know, that we've changed some people's lives is amazing, because obviously we didn't think that when we were sort of pimply little kids making these things, you know, 20 years ago. Or in Tom's case, a pimply old man.
Hey.
Which shampoo do you use, Andy, for your beautiful hair?
Oh, right.
Because I want an advice, because, you know, mine's are not as good as yours.
It's a swimming cap. I'm just hiding my beautiful locks underneath it.
There you go. AJ's back. So I'm just about
now on the trenches.
Yeah, trenches. Okay, cool. I'm just switching to the game screen. Yep, carry on. We're switching to it now. Whoop.
Oh my.
Yeah, I was just saying it's really difficult to design vehicle levels, because you just got to build massive. I remember actually I've got all these. Some of these textures I got off the oh god, what's it called? The it's in I've just got it written down somewhere. Uzbekistan. It's the giant. Yeah, you know, the giant.
That's near where I am from.
Right. Samarkand. Yeah. So basically, I got, you know, so we just took textures out of books, and then if they looked amazing, the Islamic kind of decorations, and then you know, we would just kind of make a wraparound texture, and then in my case apply it everywhere.
They do look similar. Yeah, they do look they do look to the Central Asian kind of thing, because I'm from Central Asia, I'm from Turkmenistan, which is next to Uzbekistan effectively, but the textures here, I would never guessed it until you actually said it. Now I can't unsee it. Yeah, it is very. I've never been to Uzbekistan, but it is. Yeah, I can see it now. But this is how I would imagine the Cairo to look as well. So, good job.
Yeah, we had. Thank you. We had quite a lot of books, obviously. I mean, So I mean, I used to think it was really clever to hide things from the player, which is really irritating. But I can see that AJ is really enjoying this bit.
There is a question for you, Andy. Is there any particular learning resource you recommend for games industry? From Thomas.
The games industry.
Yeah.
I mean, I think both Tom and Peter have input on this as well. But I mean, Gamba Sutra and Games Industry, GambaSutra.com and GamesIndustry.biz. And certainly the GDC talks, there's a lot of them available on YouTube. So you need to kind of specialise either in programming, art, or design. So to kind of work out which one you want to move into, and then try and maybe watch some videos, look at some Gama Sutra articles, and kind of get your head around what you want to do. Really, I think is my tip. I don't know if you guys can think of any resources.
Or you could just say, you should come to the York St John University and I'll teach you everything. This is what you have said. This was your time to recruit students.
You should come to the York St John University.
Yeah, there you go. This is how you do student recruitment. I work in university. I know how it's done.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I think they've all been. I don't think we can take any more now. Actually.
You what? Sorry.
I don't think. I think clearing stopped now, hasn't it? So we can't.
Oh yeah, it has stopped. Yeah. But there's always next year.
I think the question.
Come along.
Sorry.
On,
yeah, Tom.
I was just going to say, I think the question was game design in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom.
Yes.
Can you anywhere?
I don't know. I used to. Hang on a minute. I'm just going to turn around and look at the books behind me. Because I can't remember his name. Oh, Thingy Shell was good a few years ago. I don't know if it's moved.
Oh yeah. Jesse Shell, yeah. No, he's good. Yeah, it's a book of lenses. Yeah.
Can everyone please look at Peter how he's frozen in the frame? It's brilliant. I'm gonna print screen that. I need to print screen that. Peter, do you want to restart your video because you're frozen?
Yes, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that.
You're frozen in a very pretty pose. You're like a dreaming girl.
It hasn't really moved on since then, Tom, because it's game design is kind of a new design discipline, really, because I'm working in a massive design department. I've got graphic design and I've got interior design and so these guys have got a series of techniques like the double diamond technique, and they'll talk to me about it, and I'll go, well, it doesn't mean anything to a game designer because we've been building a set of rules and regulations, and it's only been going for 20-30 years. So I mean, the main I learn a lot of seeing similar design techniques that students use and how to correct them to make games playable, really. But I mean, you will get a lot of great stuff off GDC and Gama Sutra and
I mean, I think the other thing is just really analysing games that you like. You can just really take things apart, and it's a technique my kids used to call ruining the game. When I used to get Zelda, for instance, and just try and analyze every aspect of the way the camera worked, the way the controls worked. There's a real kind of science to it, and you can really analyze a game and see, and there's really interesting stuff like health. Like health is really interesting in games. Like health packs in Tomb Raider is absolutely critical central things in Tomb Raider, but in some ways seems quite dated now compared to having health regen. And it would be interesting how Tomb Raider would be different if you had health regen rather than picking up health packs, for instance, because health is quite a dated mechanism now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of deconstructing Fallout 76 at the minute, and it's like it's got so many systems in it that it's just system upon system upon. It's got a variety of in-game economies. It's got various methods of health management. It's got survival, it's got strategy, it's got I wouldn't say it's the greatest game in the world, but if you want to get started on actually understanding how to break games down, Fallout 76, although not a and I know that people will go, "What's he talking about?" But it's just absolutely chock-a-block with so many different techniques that you use in game design. That it's a fantastically deep game. You can play it so many different ways.
Przemyslav asked before if there's a plan to do a similar stream for Tomb Raider Chronicles. Jesus Christ, please don't do this to me. I've streamed it on my birthday actually this year. And I felt quite emotional because, you know, Tomb Raider Chronicles was my first Tomb Raider. I actually cried at the end of it. That's a 5-hour-long stream for me. And I only played
we cried
2
at
sections.
Tomb Raider 5.
Yeah, I know you said that, but like I played only 2 sections. I think I played Rome and I think I played the island. And then I played like the rest of them. I think that's what I did anyway. And I played the rest at the end, like a week after that. But I broke down because I remembered myself literally on that very day, 17 years ago. And I'm getting all personal here now. But I attempted to kill myself. Basically, I was 15 at the time, and literally my friend who was a Tomb Raider fan talked me out of it through MSN. So if not Tomb Raider, effectively, I wouldn't be here, and you know, wouldn't be here with you guys today.
That's amazing.
We might do Chronicles. It's up to you, Andy, and the rest, if you want to do any other games.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that, you know, if these guys are up for it, then, you know, you can never shut me up as.
Is there a Tomb Raider 6 stream too? Yes, there is, with Peter Connolly and Murty Scofield on this very channel you're watching. Let's just dig through the previous videos. It's 2 hours or 3 hours long, so be prepared for it. It's not entire game though, as always, because it's too long. But yeah, there is. But yeah, sure, if you guys are up to do Tomb Raider 5 or...
Jamie wanted to come along for... Did Jamie work on 5?
He did, yeah.
And I also contacted...
No, he didn't. No, I didn't know.
Well, we can do his levels for this as well. It doesn't have to be just one stream for one game. We can do multiple, and I'm willing to, like, if it's similar times after 6, I can do like pretty much any day now because I finish work at 4:30.
Are we allowed to? Can we have dinner at some point this evening?
In a bit.
I can't believe you had burritos, didn't you? Unbelievable.
I only had one of them. You know, when I just went off for 5 minutes, I just basically went out and shoved a burrito in my face.
Yeah, I had some weird noodles.
Right, AJ, do you want to skip to the last level so people can go?
What's going on with Pete now? What's his some sort of power position? Look
at him, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just checking.
Okay, we'll stop at Street Bazaar then.
Yeah, no, can you go to the very last one, which is with Sed's Tomb, or whatever it's called?
I was actually quite pleased with how that level looked, thank you for asking.
Which one?
That one that AJ was just playing, it looked alright actually.
Trenches, yeah.
The first one looked a bit stinky, but that one was good.
Alright, one last quick...
No, Jamie Morton didn't work on Tomb Raider 5, sorry. I had to just double check that.
Did he not?
Sorry, AJ, were you saying something?
Sorry,
one quick change, Ash. I just gotta move that over quick. I already had the thing.
Yeah. I already switched to the chat. Yeah, all fine. Cool. So yeah, we're gonna play the last level now, just so these old men can go to bed.
Unfortunately, that is true, isn't it? That's basically.
I'm only 18 after all. I can stay up late, but these people can't. I'm just looking at the chat. It doesn't seem like there's any more questions. Someone says, Tomb Raider 4 takes me a year to finish, so good luck to anyone trying to stream it. That was sharing stuff. Yep, that sounds legit, because that's how long it took me to play Chronicles.
It would be interesting seeing Chronicles, actually, just because we did all hate it at one level, but I think if we watched it again, we would probably be going, oh, God, probably enjoy seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
No, at the time,
it's actually a good game. It's actually a good game. Short and sweet, but it's actually a good game.
Yeah,
question for Tomb Raider 3. The assault course is the Eliminator from Gladiators. Not sure what they mean by that.
Possibly. I mean, I think Gladiators was on at the time.
1 sec, AJ. I'm just about to switch to your window.
It might be influenced.
Yeah, probably.
There we go. The last level. There's a set. Nearly there.
That's one I'm on. It's brown with the seam down the middle.
Tomb Raider Chronicles, Thomas says, took a step forward with the AI and the puzzles are innovative. I actually agree. Tomb Raider 5 for me is the perfect Tomb Raider. It combines all kinds of aspects of what you love. There is stealth, there is tombs, there is young Lara, there is kind of action-y stuff at the last levels. The last levels I hate the most because of the bugs, but they're still great. Look, and sorry, let's just watch that cutscene. It's absolutely beautiful. Like, I love it.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
This one.
Yeah, lovely. I need to get into my power position.
Do it.
Look at those particles.
Yeah, man.
That
I
took
can't
forever to render.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, the local. Oh man,
We're
the
just
local
looking at
swans.
that. How did you do the noise for those insects, Peter?
It'll be from a sample library.
You did not.
So yeah, cheated. I used something off the shelf.
There is a question from Terranity to Andy. Were you worried that players would find Cairo section too confusing since going back and forth through levels?
No, as I said, I used to kind of that used to be my level design technique. Was there was a lot of going back through levels and backtracking, and we used to try and extend the playtime of levels with backtracking. But no, I used to part of my level design techniques was confusing players, so I apologise for that. Yeah, I have learned since.
On coming back to that, then what would you change in Cairo section if you were to do it now?
Well, I'd have to actually look through them. I mean, I was just watching through some of it there, and you know, I would probably put in some clearer. Let me see some reference points. It's quite hard to. It looked like it's quite hard to try and find your way around. So it would certainly be a case of putting in some clear reference points. Probably not trying to hide everything. I do remember I was quite pleased with some of the puzzles, but I mean, I'd have to look through it again, you know, carefully and play it. Because we're watching this briefly and not really following it as closely as we should be.
What's that noise, Peter, of set? How do you do that?
Which one's that?
The one he goes like.
I don't know because I can't hear it here, so I'll need to.
It's like growling. It's like an animal growling.
I couldn't say at the moment.
Okay, there is no boss fight here for set. Any particular reason? This is all from Terranity. This is the last question from her.
Why was there no boss fight?
Yeah, boss fight music. Sorry for Peter.
Oh, sorry.
Was there not?
No. Oh my god!
I remember you, that I'm pointing here. You can't see it's pointing, but that kind of like that light thing that's shining down was a sound on that. And I think at the time I wanted the sound of that to be dominant. I remember there was a lot of problems with that sound as well, which
I
eventually
can't believe
resolved,
you just were like, is there no music in here? There is none.
It's strange because I remember playing Tomb Raider 3 and playing the final boss, thinking there's no boss music here. Let's make some, and there's none on this. But I think it had something to do with the sound that I wanted to be focused on, coming from that kind of
you could
like
just
light
say,
shining down.
Tom forgot to turn it on or something. You could just.
I think that's it. You know, I think I could tell you. You've jogged my memory.
Oh, that game is freezing like that.
I asked and Tom said, no, it's not coming in.
So one of the things with regards to level design that I did that I have just remembered watching this is the fact that all of Tomb Raider is effectively traversal design, so it's really kind of finding a route through the levels, and so really there's a huge satisfaction. Uncharted kind of does it reasonably well, but
you do love Uncharted, do you not?
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, and it's a case of there's huge satisfaction of actually finding a correct route through the level and then looking at another, and then standing on a new platform and then strategizing as to where you're going to jump next, and then you've got to either walk and do a running jump, and it's all a strategic traversal challenge the entire. So in a way, it is very much a case of trying to hide your route through the level, and then it's a reward once you find your route through the level. And you know, Uncharted for instance, Uncharted puts loads of bird shit on the ledges, and Assassin's Creed does it as well, where you can find your route through the level. But we didn't do this, and certainly with the PS1 controller and the D-pad, it was very much you had to lock yourself precisely in the position. And it was like a jigsaw, effectively, of kind of fitting your way into the environment to get across the level. And it was a huge challenge player-wise, and then you got a huge reward. I think certainly with the early games.
I think it's interesting. Sorry, I was just going to say, we're talking about game design, because I mean, again, one of the things, if you think back to the early, the first Tomb Raider, with boss fights were just like the T-Rex had, I think, over 1,000 hit points, and you were just basically hammering that with bullets for, it's just a bullet sponge. And I think, like I said earlier, trying to move away with these boss fights from things just having hit points that you shot a lot. But what's interesting watching this is it makes me realise that it's quite difficult when you've got an enemy. Obviously, when you're shooting an enemy, you're facing it. Whereas this level, watching AJ play this level, basically the action is constantly away to the side. You're kind of not looking at what your enemy is. You're kind of aware that it's there, but you're trying to traverse the level fast enough to basically not be hit by it. But in some ways, I don't know if it works entirely looking at it now, but basically, it's always off camera, that action. Because if it's on camera, you're in trouble because you're facing straight towards it and it's shooting you. So
because that's.
Yeah, sorry, carry on, Andy.
No, I was just going to say the Sophia one that me and Tom played.
Yeah.
We played the Sophia level, and in a way that was probably a bit better because you were facing her, weren't you? But I mean, still, I was having an absolute nightmare trying to get traverse it. I mean, I'm the worst player in the universe, so not ideal. But it's just really, like Tom said, I think it's kind of two design techniques crashing against each other. You can't really be looking at the enemy and trying to avoid the enemies shooting at you hitting specific weak spots while you're traversing the environment. They're two separate things, really.
AJ, can you move that cursor away?
My bad.
There you go. There is a message from Uncharted Raider. Now, Uncharted Raider his name is Rob, and he actually backed the Dark Angel Symphony recently and bought quite a lot of things, Peter. So say thank you.
Thank you, young man.
Yeah, so he says, Tomb Raider as a franchise has helped me out with life and always kept me happy, especially the classics. So there you go, guys.
Thank you.
Damian says, could that the music got swapped by accident? There is a boss fight at the first half, but not in the second. That's actually true. Before you actually activate set, the boss fight is played. So you can now blame Tom.
Trigger, it's probably a trigger that Joby's put in.
All right.
The other thing it might be, do you know? I mean, again, this is just
same game. Sorry.
I was just going to say it could be that because like in with Sophia, the sound is a real cue. When you're playing this, you can't see him shoot at you, so the sound effect of the shooting is a real cue as a player because you need to know when that's coming. In the same way as you do in the Sophia level. So it might have been, I don't know if that was a part of the decision on not having music.
I also think it actually works because you hear the growls. It's kind of more scary than just with the music as well.
There's a sound which plays on the light coming down.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've probably noticed that it's very Zelda-ish, which was the kind of vibe I was trying to get. Yeah. I like you, Tom. Back in the day, I was playing a lot of Zelda. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So beyond that, but that's the kind of vibe I wanted. I just wanted the concentration on that. I'm pointing at it. You can't see me pointing at it. I wanted the kind of the sound to be primarily focused on that kind of light that's coming down. So I think I had music in the background of that, it would take that away. So sometimes less is more. Whether it worked or not, I don't know.
Oh, nearly there. Yeah.
I don't know, did you play? Go on, AJ.
I was just gonna say, welcome back to the old school Tomb Raider.
Yeah, where you just save game before every jump. That's what I did anyway.
Yeah.
And then
I missed
it. What they've been at 2 frames per second, Ash.
That's how I play. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not a stab at the programmers. Ash had a really shit computer.
Oh yeah, I did on Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness when it came out. I had like shitty Celeron 600, but the problem was not even the CPU. The graphics card I had was 8 megabytes, and the minimum was 16, and I was so pleased it actually ran, but I had to play it in 320 by 240 and the lowest possible settings, and even then it was like 2-3 frames per second. But I finished like good half of the Angel of Darkness on that, and so when people say, oh, controls are bad, I'm like, oh, you have no idea the hell, so you have no right to complain.
You know, watching on the Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness live stream that we did last year with Murdy, I was really, I mean, I never played the game after working on it, but I was really surprised to see how it kind of flowed. Yep. It was really interesting because it looked actually great, and I was a bit confused at what
it survived time quite well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think Andy, you were saying something?
No, sorry, I was just looking at that texture, wondering how you knew how to climb it. It's a bit,
we assume that you can because it's around one specific area. This is how you guess that it's. That's with me anyway. AJ, are you the same?
Pretty much. Like, it was back in that day. Like, we didn't have white ledges and all that crap, so we pretty much just had to figure out like what is climbable, and it kind of makes a thrill. Like,
yeah, that's it. You see, it's kind of like finding an invisible wall in Dark Souls. But I think you probably do need to guide the player a bit. I mean, so the new Tomb Raiders have got that clear wall, haven't they, that you can leap across and with the pickaxe and grab onto it. You've got a clear wall and you get a ice axe and you can jump and grab on the latest Tomb Raiders.
This is basically it. This is the end of the game now. Just so you guys know, I have that Ankh tattooed on me.
Hey, nice work.
I actually have ancient Egyptian words here, like Lara's. AJ, come on. The Lara's quotes here. I make my own luck and stuff like that. So it's all in actual ancient Egyptian. I had the Egyptologist translate that to me. Shout out to Marina. She's doctor in. So it's all proper Tomb Raider stuff. I'm actually looking at the.
Have you got a barking mad on there, Ash?
No, I make my own luck. Lara Croft, once and future adventurer for her, which is from Chronicles Tomb, and something else here. Can't remember what that. This is Lara Croft. I can read some of it. Like I can definitely see this is A and this is A, and then it kind of gets confusing. There's also Tomb of Ash logo, and Tomb of Ash is actually again an ancient Egyptian written. That was nice. Oh. I decided to do that to my blog because it kind of changed my life. I actually got the job because of having it, so that kind of worth it.
Fantastic.
So enough about me. We're talking about chat. I'm just looking. All right.
I can almost see my beans on toast.
That actually was her favorite food in the biography. Beans on toast. Was it you who put it in there?
No, it wasn't. I didn't write any of that.
That was probably Vicky. Right, guys. Any other questions that I haven't answered? Please should AJ, because AJ is dying all the time. We'll still be here for another year. So please shoot them whilst you still can. Did you plan to kill Lara before the start of making Tomb Raider 4? This is from Mbog.
I can't remember that. Actually. That's an interesting one. I think. Can you remember, Tom?
I feel like we did because we didn't want to do another one, and it didn't bloody work, did it? I thought I really feel like it was a definite decision because it felt.
We must have. We must have. Because we had, like I said, we had that initial script meeting, and I think we must have decided at that point to kill it. I think I do remember that it's quite well documented that I did. That I have mentioned the fact that Jez didn't know, and that is true. Jez pretended he didn't. He only knew right halfway through the game that we were killing Lara. I think
people asking about voice actors on Tomb Raider 1 and 2 and 3. On 1, no one knows, except for Shelley, obviously. I've done that research. Sorry, no one knows. Coming back to this. Sorry, Andy, you were saying something.
No, it's fine. I want to watch this.
This is the last cutscene. This is so sad. She's dying.
Your hands, Lara. Give me your hands. Take my hands. I can pull you to safety.
I can pull you to safety.
I couldn't leave you.
Oh. He got a massive bulge, one Croy.
I was just noticing.
What the hell is happening there?
I was just about to comment on that, and I didn't like to.
I didn't actually notice.
That's what he's covering up with his hat.
Like, yeah, it's like he got a huge boner of her dying. What the hell?
Well, that's what Angel of Darkness is all about, you see.
Oh, this is disgusting. This is the end of it.
We didn't write that in, by the way.
And I like how it plays Jeep Thrills at the end of the game.
Hey!
It's just, there you go, Tom Scott.
Nice.
Tom, did you do any other games apart from Chronicles? Did you do Angel of Darkness as well?
I didn't do Angel of Darkness. I'm afraid I think I was meant to. I think I started sort of a bit on Angel of Darkness, and I could sort of see how it was going, and I couldn't convince anyone that it should go in a different direction.
Yeah, no, we knew when we arrived on Angel of Darkness that there was trouble.
Yeah, so we didn't stick around.
Well, it did bring a lot of there is a huge community for Angel. This is basically how the Dark Angel Symphony came to life, because of fans of the Angel of Darkness. They're the ones who gave us a lot of money. There's actually Alex Fly in this chat who gave us £8,000. She was the top donator for the Dark Angel Symphony. So even though the Angel of Darkness is often criticized, and there's always you have a bitter taste about it, some of you, but as in the developers, but it actually created
I
a
think
huge
I don't have a.
Hey,
I don't think
Hey.
Hey,
Kind of like
I don't think we don't have a bit of taste of
that darkness at the end of Angel of Darkness. That was the end of our childhood coming to an end, basically.
Yeah. When she walks out, I've been saying that for quite a while. When she walks out to that dark room thing, I was just like, this is my childhood ended. Like my parents were divorced at that time.
That's exactly how it felt.
Yeah, Troy Orton, yay!
And look, Hope Canton, who we spent quite a long time cleaning up some of her dialogue, which was rather questionable. Yeah, it was a script doctoring that needed to be then quickly surgically repaired.
Is this spelled Nick Connolly wrong?
There's H as well in Q&A, the best bug of all time. And then Lara went to the place where no pixels live, wasn't it?
What was this?
I can't remember. One of H's bug reports was something happened, and then Lara went to the place where no pixels live. I think it's just when it was black screened or something.
There was some great QAs.
There was some great.
It was the Japanese feedback was fairly incomprehensible. It was when translated. I think the Japanese guys was writing it in English, and when the hand touches the foot and the foot is touching the hand, then it will not move left on the hand. It's like,
but
okay.
It has to be the left finger on the right. Yeah.
AJ, just keep that screen on. So there is no more questions, it seems, as far as I can see. Please throw them in if there are any. Whilst we'll be here for another few minutes. So what do you guys feel about the stream? Looking at the game, what is it? 21 years. Jesus.
21 years, yeah. Bloody hell.
21 years since it was made. And I'm only 18. I don't know how I played it in 2001. So what do you think of this?
I'm just looking at this. I remember, I was just fly through. Yeah, it looks a lot nicer than I expected it to. Yeah, it's and I mean I didn't really look at the design as much as I would have liked to, but I think there's a lot of stuff in there that really stands up. And you can see what other games have nicked off a lot of the mechanics.
Did you do this title level, Andy, by any chance?
I can't remember. No, again, I remember this was very late, and I think that me and Rich were. I think we each did a bit of it, and then I might have flown the camera through it. But I mean, again, this is really nice stuff. It's really cinematic. And I think that we lose that hand animation feel that it's kind of it's a real. You can tell that it's a real personal sequence. Even this start fly through. There's a lot of personal human beings that have made this sequence. Yeah, I did do it because the camera's wobbling, canting all over the place. So
you were known as a bit of a cant.
Yeah.
So Tom, what are your impressions on looking at the 21
you say that word, and I just instantly think of that postcard.
Oh, before we go to Tom, Andy, can you do your favorite Rutututu?
Sorry, what am I doing? Is that's not my favourite, but yeah.
Apparently you were doing this when you're walking around the studio all the time. You did.
You know when you're going outside for a cigarette, because Andy would hum that tune. You go right, let's go. Because my door used to be right next to the entrance where everyone, or the exit where everyone would go for a cigarette. So when I heard that, I just knew it was cigarette time.
Yeah.
Okay. Going back to Tom. Tom, what are your thoughts on 21 years playing this?
I don't know. I've just seen that comment about a burning torch mechanic, and I think I did that. I'll take that one. No, I think it's really interesting watching this, because, like I said, it keeps on sparking things that I kind of half remember. It's like awful that I can't remember something I spent so long doing. But I mean, it's kind of like it feels partly like it's all coming back to me. It's like some sort of dream, but I can't work out.
It's because you're on the zone. You're on the zone quite a lot that you stop thinking about it and you just do it. So it's not until you look back retrospectively that you appreciate it or remember what you did.
There's just so much content. I mean, that's the other thing. Is I mean, it's in some ways, although it was a year. I mean, it was only a year in development. 12 people over a year. I mean, compared to
not even that, 10 months really.
That's right. Yeah, probably 9 or 10 months. And considering that, there's so much content in it. It's huge.
It is.
And I think that is the benefit of having a deadline, and also having that 1 million people are going to play it, and also you're going to get paid royalties. So that, I mean, but that it was always. No, I'm not going to. But I'm just saying that we knew that it was to do with the creativity, that we knew people were going to see it. I think with a lot of indie games, when you start building a game these days, you think, my God, there's probably only about 2 people going to see this, unless by 1 million to 1 chance it's a massive hit. We knew we were making stuff for a massive audience.
Yeah, it was a dead cert, wasn't it? It was an absolute dead cert. Yeah.
Peter, before you answer your perspective from 21 years after this, how were Tomb Raider 4 and 5 effects made? What would you use?
Ask that again, sorry?
Sound effects with Tomb Raider 4 and 5, how did you do them?
It was a mixture between just live recordings or just general manipulated recordings or stuff pulled from sample libraries.
Just like in Angel Darkness when you're pulling down your pants when she was taking...
that kind of thing, yeah. I mean, a lot
he also had a...
Sorry.
He had a washboard as well. He used to have a washboard and a skiffle band in his back of his. Yeah.
I mean, throughout the whole Tomb Raider, that I kind of gradually got more into kind of like doing live Foley work. I mean, all the footsteps, for instance, on Angel Darkness was all recorded around Markeaton Park. Me and Martin went around with the DAT player and dangled the microphone from the DAT player and just used our footsteps on different services. That's how the sounds were created for that.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on playing this 21 years after it was done?
21 years just sounds way too long. It just feels like yesterday, if I'm being honest.
It's a lifetime.
I can't believe it's been that long ago. It's like that time has just whizzed by, and it's great seeing it.
I'd like to actually play it properly myself now, because AJ's done a great job, but you don't actually experience a game until you play it yourself, and it'd be nice to actually play it. So
there's quite a few fan patches you can use as well to make it more playable and like a bit more forgiving with things, and also make it widescreen as well. Sorry,
can
Peter,
I have all those patches, please?
Yeah, I'll send you the link. Peter?
Yeah, I was saying it. I can't remember now. Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, Lion, they did not play that fan game Angel Darkness 1.1. Sorry about that. I know that you haven't, guys. Thank you for all your hard work you put into this game. This is one of my favorites. This is again from my child raider, Rob, who we mentioned before. I don't think there is any...
Well, thank you all for playing it. Thank you, for all enjoying it, and thank and we're so happy that it's changed some people's lives. And as you've said, it's amazing. We would never thought when we were sitting in our grisly little chamber,
I like it.
At 5 in the morning, that we were changing people's lives. So that's fantastic. And
we made lots of friendship because of these games. Like I have friends literally in most of the countries in the world. Like I could go to Russia tomorrow if I want to. I know people there. I can go to South Africa for fuck's sake. Like, you know, and I get people visiting me from all over the world as well, just because of this. So it's a life, and I'm sure like lots of people can relate to that, and it's a life-changing experience, surely, and AJ will relate to that as well. So
to be involved with it, it was just, it's, you know, it's, you don't get offered that opportunity often in a lifetime, you know. So I think I think I would probably say as well, even though it's done, it is where it is. It wasn't something we set out to be. So we just kind of went with the flow, did our best, and this is how it ended up. So.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just typing the link to Tomb Raider Dark Angel if anyone wants to purchase the remastered music from Tomb Raider 4, 5, and 6. So it's original tracks but remastered for for your current hardware. Plus there is the Dark Angel Symphony, which is and a separate album which has these musics completely remade and redone. It all comes as one big package of 4 CDs, or in this case vinyl, but the vinyl is only including the Dark Angel Symphony itself. All the details there. You can get the downloads and stuff like that, so please have a look. You can get posters as well, and all the proceedings are going to mine and Peter debt that we owe to lots of loan companies. We paid in £100,000 out of one pocket to make it happen. So if anyone feeling generous, by all means, there you go. That's a nice tie-in. Now, guys, are we doing another stream at some point then?
I think so. Yeah. I think
pencil it in.
Why not?
Pencil it in,
Let's get Jamie as well, and
I'll try and get Tommy out as well.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, the more the merrier, really.
Yeah.
But thanks everybody, and you know, thanks as I said, and it's great to see everybody again, and it's great to actually see the game and not be embarrassed by it. So that's
there's nothing to be embarrassed. It's beautiful.
Great to watch you.
Thanks, AJ, for playing it much better than any of us could. And also,
Dr. Willett loves Sandham's accent because Dr. Willett is a character from Tomb Raider 3 and he is Scottish, so he loves your accent. Sorry, you were saying thank you to AJ and I just interrupted you like an asshole.
That's right. I was just going to say also thank you. I'm sorry, we've been kind of keeping an eye on the questions on the side of the screen, and sorry we haven't been able to answer all of them, but everyone's comments about how they've played the game and how much they've enjoyed it, been kind of watching that while we've been doing it, and really appreciate that, guys, and thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So thank you, AJ, from Survivor Reborn for playing, because I would not be able to do it, whilst also monitoring the chat and doing that, because that was fucking disaster when I was playing Angel of Darkness, I'll tell you that.
I think we need to thank you to you as well, Ash. You're the main one that keeps bringing core design back.
Nothing. It's not about me, it's about the fandom, it's about core design, it's about our love for video games, it's not about me at all. So yeah, guys.
Thank you, Ash.
Oh, okay, I will accept that. We will have another live stream because they just promised, and I will sue them if they will not do it. So yeah, I have that legally recorded. So I will announce it on our social media. So just please, because I know that Saman and Dr. Willett missed it, but please put notification sound on my YouTube channel so you don't miss it when I'm going to announce it next. And thank you, 3, for being part of this. I know it's way past your bedtime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you can go have your
beans on toast.
Beans on toast. Peter can have his cocaine, and Tom can have his Doritos.
Yeah,
and I will end the stream on the final comment from Lion here. Thank you again for all core designs, hard work with Tomb Raider, free running, Rick Dangerous still remembered. Machine, I can't pronounce that.
Jesus.
Machine Head. Oh, there you go. It was just like.
Hey, don't forget.
Rick Dangerous, yes, they said that. Yeah,
Jaguar XJ220, Blam. It's all there.
Yeah, and don't forget. trdarkangel.com. Get yourself a soundtrack board. It will be shipped by Janice, literally within most likely next working day, unless it's a t-shirt that can take a few days more.
Taking me Nash out of a hole.
Yeah, by the way, Janice on Twitter is actually me, in case you didn't know. Of course, if I
don't tell people that. Don't tell people that. People want.
Yeah, but I can do like all the crude jokes because Janice, for Andy and Tom, who probably didn't play the introduction, Janice is a prostitute. She's a French prostitute, and she's a big meme. So yeah,
I don't know what's happening anymore.
I don't either.
So on Twitter, I would pretend to be Janice, like, oh, I'm making the van of our delivery man crowded, with packages and stuff like that. That was actually me. I'm sure everyone knew that. Anyway,
beans on toast.
Yeah, beans on toast. Go on, go have your food. Thank you so much. I'm gonna hand up on your chat here, but I will remain online.
I'm gonna send you a postcard.
All right, cheers.
Yeah,
please. Yes.
Is it the same as the last one?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. See you later. Bye. AJ can remain on the call if you want to. We're going to be in line for a couple of more seconds. Cool. Well, thank you everyone who watched this. There were about 60 people watching it simultaneously at some point, so thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for sending us questions. Lion, thank you for sending me levels. I haven't checked my emails yet, but I will double check them and we'll send them to Andy to play. Yeah, AJ, any thoughts on playing this?
A little nerve-wracking when your childhood heroes are watching, but
yeah, no, I was sweating when I was playing the Angel Darkness. I mean, it is like, when people are watching you, I try to do. That's why I did Ark the other day as a live stream, because it's very difficult to play the game live. It's just, and even not playing it, hosting the stream is difficult because you know that you can't just cut that out. So what you will say is said, and what you do is done. So like when Peter was picking his nose before we were doing a Skype call before a couple of days ago, and he was picking his nose, you can't do that on live stream. Yeah, Tomb Raider Chronicles live stream, you can watch it on my channel. It was just me playing, but we might do it with those guys. Yes. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, AJ, for playing. Survivor Reborn, AJ is from Survivor Reborn. Please give them a follow on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff. Yeah, is there anything you want to add, AJ, before I end?
Just thank you guys for watching and keeping, classic Tomb Raider alive. Keep your eyes peeled to Tomb of Ash for the updates on Anniversary Edition that are coming.
Because they are coming. I know some people actually ask about Anniversary Edition. I did not answer those deliberately. It will be published one way or another. It will be available in some of the museums in physical form. That I can tell you for certain. We are in talks to make it digitally available. So I will say no more, and please don't go absolutely batshit about it. I can't handle it just yet. I had to make my Twitter account private because I was receiving a lot of hate from certain TRF members, and fuck that place. I know there's some lovely guys there, but seriously, guys, I don't know how you do it. It's just mentally draining. But as I said, it will be published. Just be patient. The good thing is it's not lost. We have it, and it's just a matter of time until it's published. So, and it will be. That's all I can say at the moment. If he sneezes, his nose in the rhythm of melody of Tomb Raider theme. Well, that's about Peter. Yes, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he would do the play on the armpits as well at some point. Yeah, so yeah, keep an eye for Anniversary Edition. Also, Andy will send me stuff of unreleased. Some people were asking about builds. I'm on it. I'll try to get as many early stuff as possible. So yeah, just keep your eyes peeled on our website and our social media. Everything we receive, we will publish. I know Andy has discovered some concept art, but I don't know whether it's the one he already sent me before, or maybe not. We'll have a look. But if not, I will obviously scan it and upload them. So everything he will send to me, it will be uploaded and posted. So just keep an eye. Yeah. It seems like the chat is just never fucking ending, is it? Right, well, I will announce next live stream, as always. I will create a schedule here on YouTube, so please subscribe to my YouTube account, and if you're watching this on Twitch, subscribe to YouTube so you can get notifications when the next live stream is going to be. Same with Facebook, you will get notification when the next live stream be. On Twitch, I can't do that. So Facebook and YouTube account, please do that. gonna make a celebration of Photoshop pick of Curtis for the Terminator Anniversary Edition to be based on the Mummy movie. Okay, please do that. Yeah, cool. And there you go, A. Winters, who starts all the bloody petitions, isn't he? Everyone is here, the entire family, and that Norse chick who washes her mimsy all the time. Right, cool. Right, this is definitely the end. I'm chatting shit now, so I need to end this. Right, see you later, AJ. I'm ending your Discords there as well, and Skype. Thank you again for making this happen with your live stream.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me a part of it.
Cool. See you later. Ending the call. Can you end it? For some reason, I can't see the Skype call. There you go. I can. Cool. Right. And for the end, I'm just gonna play the for those of you who are late, or those of you who are watching Facebook because Facebook started the stream way late. I will get out of here, you disgusting worm. That's from a movie reference. So I'm gonna play music from the Dark Annual Symphony and some old 90s video clips. So if you guys, and the chat will be available, so you can chat if you want to, and then it will end without me talking. Bye all, enjoy the rest of your evening, and have a good night. And stay safe, and wash your mimsy if you're not that Norse chick, and wash your hands if you're everyone else.
One woman is about to face her ultimate destiny. To save the future, she must face her past. Tomb Raider, the last revelation.
The sanctum of the ancients, the first footfalls in this tomb for centuries.
Oh, I think I can just about hold it together.